The funny thing about it is the degeneracy has always been a joke. A fun joke. I found it hilarious because people always called me like a degenerate monster. And I was like, yeah, degenerate, monster, grifter, whatever. Asshole, worst human being ever. You always just leaned into it because it's like, what's degenerate now? Like, what is it? And you find out like what people find degenerate, and you're like, because I like said crude words, or I made like a crass joke, or used to watch pornography, whatever it is. Like, it's degenerate. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Not what I thought of, but it's funny. I always thought it was hilarious. And then like you meet me, and just a normal guy.
How's it going, chat? It's been a while, I suppose. We're back with our favorite Polish lolcow. Unfortunately, I can't play the song, which is very funny if you look up the lyrics, but it's on the Twitter. I did put a little couple of minutes into editing to put together this little dancing emoji for us. Funny and weird indeed. Kitty was, what does this button do? I assume she pressed a like button, which I very much appreciate. So there's a bit of stuff to talk about. Thought we may as well start off the not the year, but the week, right? Is it the week? No, it's the. We already did one stream this month. Sorry, you can understand this is very, very professional. Let's get into it with let's start off with this tweet here, which is very funny and weird. Very funny and weird. You see, RekietaLaw. Hold on, I'll turn off the cats for a second, so we can all read this. So they have to remember where everything is. There we go. RekietaLaw at RekietaLaw on Twitter says, people have asked me if I'd ever interview Null again. Sure, if Null can get himself below 250 pounds and stop jerking off to Shota, I'll interview him again. Until then, no. Now, you might be perplexed about this tweet. Who would ask such a thing? Well, nobody, because this tweet is completely unprompted and just from the deranged mind of Nick Rekieta, who can't stop thinking about his boyfriend, or his want-to-be boyfriend, Josh Moon of the Kiwi Farms. As we see by this clip, back when Sean was in the good graces of the Baldo Lord. Let's see what he says.
I love Josh. I'm a super fag. And Josh just needs like he needs a guy to suck his dick. And I'm here to do it, Josh. I love you.
So there you go. You can see that he was very much missing his boy toy Josh Moon, who did not reciprocate his love. And a spurned lover is the most difficult one to deal with. And he started to go on a bit of a rant because people were starting to say, why are you talking about this? Because this is just an unprompted tweet. There is no streams. There is no nothing for about 6 months. And he's just like, you know what? I'm going to tweet about Null because that's what people that are very stable and definitely don't care about someone do, is think about them constantly. Someone who I believe was, in response to it, it was some Chinese person, Jie Shohan or whatever. Literally, no one asked you that. No one cares about your opinion on Null or anything else beyond the Coke. From this point on, your content only exists as fuel for dunking. No better than Ralph. Nick responds, but that's not true. Tons of people ask me this. Are these people in the room with us right now? Maybe they asked you this back when you were streaming, back when you were popular, but I don't think that anyone's asking you this now. It's too bad, Nick goes on to say, because Null can barely even walk these days without breathing like a bellows. So Nick, for a man that has actually gotten a little bit fatter recently because he gave up the Coke, he has gained some pounds. He's been very liberal with these fat jokes. Sneed Pup responds saying, yeah, no one asked you about this. You said you wouldn't talk about, he said he wouldn't talk about you again until you got sober like a year ago. Cry more. Tons of people ask me this. It's true. I'm not crying. Poor guy is so fat. He makes my Coke habit look normal. A bit of a weird flex here, Nick, saying that your Coke habit is actually a big problem. And I believe there was something to do with Ralph here. Let me see. If I go down, where's the Ralph? There was a Ralph comment here. That's right. So in response to this, Teddy Feezer, formerly known as RPG TV, says, how about Ralph? No. Speaking of experience, Ralph needs to manage his demons. So Ralph's life is completely off the rails. But Nick won't talk to him, but he will talk to Josh. Ralph responded saying, Rekieta, you allegedly dosed your child with Coke. Why? And Ralph's been going on a bit of a bender, you have to understand as well. Why let him holte? Rail your wife, April, admittedly an upgrade. I'm never changing. Howard Corsell. I tell it how I see it. Stable change. Stable change. You can't keep the Ralph and Mail down. You can't keep them down. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I've got the cats back on now that I've figured out how StreamYard works again. There we go. There we go. The gun reversal. Yes, Ralph won. There's been some fun stuff with Ralph recently. He's burning every bridge. He's no longer friends with Dick Masterson. He's trying to get revenge sober, which is not the best motivation for getting sober, just out of spite. But I'm curious to see where it goes. Now, before we get into a few other things, there's a bit of a rewind. So last time we talked about how Nick was deficient in his learning credits and he is no longer allowed to practice law in Minnesota. He's no longer good standing. Well, it officially came out. Let me zoom this out a bit. Please find attached the Supreme Court of Minnesota order made pursuant to a report from the Board of Continuing Legal Education, the CLE credits. It's a bit of a grift, really. It kind of tricks lawyers into paying money every year, but it is what it is. Forbidding Nicholas Rekieta from practicing law. So let's take a look at this. This is the order filed in the Office of the Appellate Courts, State of Minnesota in Supreme Court. The Board of Continuing Legal Education made a report pursuant to Rule 11D of the Rules of Minnesota Board of Continuing Legal Education, stating that the lawyers whose name appear on the attached list, marked Exhibit List A, are assigned to a CLE Category 1 by the Minnesota Lawyer Registration Office for the purpose of reporting compliance to the CLE rules. Failed to comply with the Rule 9 of CLE rules as required from Minnesota registered lawyers. Now, Nick said very proudly in a previous stream, he said, I've got my legal law license and you can't take it away from me. It's mine. You can't do anything about that. You can report me to the bar all you want. It's not going to happen. It's mine, 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 mine. Well, now it's gone, gone, gone. And this is the second time that this has happened in, I guess, as many months, right? Because he lost it the first time because he wasn't paying for it. But then he got felted by the Kiwi Farms and he decided to pay for it just to spite them. But then he couldn't even do the web seminar or whatever was required to keep this in good standing. Why am I on Top Chat? That's a very good question. We mailed a notice of non-compliance. You can't expect this guy to read, man. Reading's boring. He's living in the fast lane. He can't be reading. By the Office of the Board of Continuing Legal Education, by regular mail to the address of record. Well, he might not have that address much longer, but we'll see. We'll see. With the with the Lawyer Registration Office pursuant to Rule 11 and CLE rules. Failed to respond to the notice of non-compliance or following receipt of non-compliance or having been granted an extension of time to file, failed to complete the required CLE hours within the extended time period. Well, he's even got an extension and he couldn't do it. Failed to establish justification for failure to comply with the CLE rules. He couldn't even bother to ring them and say, look, my kids got taken away from me, Judge, so maybe I'm going to skip the online course this week. He couldn't even have time for that. He's just so busy driving around in the Mustang. He's very, very busy. Failed to establish justification for failure to comply with CLE rules based on all files, records, and proceedings herein. It is hereby ordered that the lawyers referenced in Exhibit A, one Mr. Rekieta, are placed on CLE involuntary restricted status as defined in Rule 12. It is further ordered? Jesus, I've been spending too much time in Japan and now I can't speak English. Not that I ever really could. It is further ordered that removal from CLE involuntary restricted status is conditioned on compliance with the requirements of Rule 12D of the CLE rules. This order shall be served upon each of the lawyers referenced in Exhibit A by mailing a copy of each lawyer's last known address as shown by the records. Signed by the court, Theodora K. Gratis, Associate Judge. So that's the order from the Supreme Court of Minnesota. Nick is he's not disbarred, but you may as well call him disbarred because it's kind of funnier, right? But that's how it goes for Nick. Nia says, bottom text, thank you very much for the member of 5 months. Lucky Limes of 2 Canadian says, hey, moron, where were you? Missed you and your drama slop. Well, don't worry, there's plenty of drama slop, and I've actually found some new characters to add to my lineup, my rogue gallery of people to A-Log. And we'll be showing us some of them, I guess, towards the end of the stream. We'll get their next stuff out first because that's what most people want to see. Eva Blink, member for 28 months, says 28 months and it feels just like yesterday. Well, just like that for me too. That's because I've been drinking my brain cells into oblivion. All right. Let's see. We'll get rid of this. We're going to go on to everybody's least favorite person, but we have to say thank you to the Clippers. So I'm going to like the stream or like the clip. because the Clippers, they're doing the dirty work. I can't watch these people's streams. It's too much of a slog, and I don't want to see a bunch of PDF files giggling about Aaron Imholte. So Alyssa was kind enough to clip this, and it's called Nobody Likes Onions, Nick Rekieta Call In. This starts off pretty funny, let me tell you. So bear with it. I know it's a bit long. We're going to have to get through some of that content, but it is what it is.
Oh.
All right. So this starts off as one of Melton's regular shows where he just talks about Aaron. It's a lot like this show, except we talk about something people are interested in, and there's no pedo behavior.
Hello.
So he's doing call-ins.
Melton,
Yeah.
you know who this is.
I don't.
Drops the call. You know who this is. You know who this is, Melton. No, I don't. Even the head PDF file, the man that's lusting after Aaron's children, doesn't even recognize Rekieta's voice. He's so irrelevant that not even the people he thinks are his friends can recognize him. He sounds drunk. He is drunk. We know he's drunk. In fact, we'll talk about that a bit later. It seems like there's been some rumors that after they got banned from having fun legally in the state, they had to start doing galaxy gas whippets or something just to get high. That's the only thing they could get through the day. The realization that they're actually in their 40s and have children and have to be responsible. That's the only way they could get through the day. But we'll talk about that a bit later.
Who is that? People are really retarded. Like everyone thinks I know who they are when they call in, and then we have to do like a 3-minute skit. Come on, you know. You're all dumb. Hello.
Why isn't this working? Can you hear me yet?
Yes, who is it? Get to your point.
It's Nick Rekieta, you turd.
Oh, fuck. All right. Sorry. I didn't know. everyone
How dare
has
you?
such a fucking ego. I don't recognize.
He thinks he's so important. He thinks he's friends with these people. They laugh at him. He's not like the reason that Nick is in this chat. The reason that Nick spends all day in Nobody Likes Onions chat, rather than doing his law credits, rather than spending time with his kids, rather than getting his own stream back off the ground, is because he thinks these people are his friends. They're his contemporaries, right? They're the similar people that hate Aaron as much as he does. And he wants to talk about Aaron all day, but his wife is tired of it, right? So that's why he hangs out with these people. But even to these people, he's a joke. Nobody cares about him. Even in this group of degenerates.
I don't know. You know who this is?
How
I
dare
don't.
Why don't your testicles tingle when I call anymore? They used to.
Sorry. Yeah. So anyway,
Even the pedophile is made uncomfortable by Nick's constant homo remarks. Unbelievable.
I haven't revealed what we talked about earlier yet, so don't blow anything up.
I never would. Well, I mean, there are things I would blow up, but not, like mostly towers in New York. But no. So apparently, I'm going to fist fight a noodly armed snowman. Like, is that what's going on?
Yeah. I mean,
All right, so there's a bit of backstory here. Apparently, there's like some internet real life blood sports in the works or something. Aaron was thinking about boxing with like 5 people. They're all terrified of actually fighting Aaron, but they want to make fun of Aaron for being a noodle-armed girl, but then they're not man enough to actually go fight him. But apparently, as Aaron tells it, and I've got a clip for this later on, he may not be able to fight them anyway because he has very real criminal charges coming against both Nick and Melton. But this is what's happening is that Melton's having an event. Nobody's coming. So he's desperately trying to get Nick to come because he thinks it's going to give him clout. And he's desperately trying to get Aaron to come because he thinks it's going to give him clout. Neither of them really want to go. Well, Nick does want to go, but he just doesn't really want to go. He just wants to get out of Minnesota and get away from the family. So that's what's happening here. And Aaron, I guess, pitched the idea that he was going to fight the whole crew. He was going to take 5 guys. It was going to be like poor little white guy, but Aaron was definitely going to beat them all up. I mean, I think he did. I think he could. I think Aaron would win, honestly. It's not like exactly a star lineup of it's not exactly the Avengers that were lined up there, right? And D Watt says, been here for 2 years. YouTube is asshole. Wow. Well, thank you very much. Bob Tube says, haha, 9/11. Am I right? Yes. Very funny and relevant jokes. You can expect much more of those next week when Nick starts streaming again, except that's not going to happen. What are the incoming criminal charges? So it's the cyber digital trespassing when they accessed Aaron's Gmail account from Nick's house and they shared his files. That's what Aaron says. He says that he was going to fight them, but then he called his lawyer, and his lawyer said you can't do this because they have pending criminal charges. Now, I would love to see these pending criminal charges because until it happens, I assume that they're all just never going to happen. It'd be very funny if it does happen, though. Then we'll have some more stuff to talk about. Billy Oki also says, anyone else got money on Aaron? Yeah, I think Aaron would win, honestly. I mean, Nick has actually said he's afraid of fighting Aaron previously. And he did flee from Ron Toye. So, you know, like, it's fine if you think that Aaron's not a good fighter. But if you're going to say he's not a good fighter, at least actually show up and fight him, right?
Yeah, this is a requirement that you're there.
Wait, so is this a situation where someone has requested my presence along with 4 other men to pound them down? This has happened before.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know.
Now, okay, so that's kind of a funny joke, but it's a murder-suicide. Because you're just admitting that you had a male gangbang with Aaron. And as a man that is desperately trying to prove to the world that Aaron drunk his cum and he didn't drink Aaron's cum, I'm not sure that that's the angle you want to go with, that you and 4 other men were pounding Aaron and assuming taking turns, right? It's a bit funny. I will admit it's a little bit funny, but it might not be your best course of action.
People have noticed, because people make word clouds of his shows every day. He talks about you way more than April now.
He talks about me so much that, and he's like, I can't believe Nick Rekieta's out there every day.
All right, so there's a new thing that Nick is doing, and he's got this new Aaron voice, and the Aaron voice is it's basically a copy of Melton's Aaron voice, which is really embarrassing because it means that he aspires to be like Melton. Now, there's something that I heard a long time ago, that your personality and your sense of humor is a amalgam of your 5 closest friends. And I think there's something very true in that statement. But the problem is, as society is moving on with technology, right, your personality and your sense of humor is now more of an amalgamation of the 5 streamers that you watch. This is a problem with a lot of children, is that they're just bringing this like online attitude into the real world. Like you see like the kids flossing or using poggers in chat sort of thing in real life sort of thing. Very cringe behavior. But that's what's happening. And this is what's happening to Nick, is that his personality and his sense of humor is molding to the 5 closest people in his life. And one of those is Melton, which is, again, is very, very sad.
Every day talking.
So this is the voice, like you can hear it. This is the voice that kind of Melton does. You'll hear it more as we go on. He thinks it's very funny. He used to have his high squeaky Ron Toye voice that he would use for Aaron, I think. But he's ditched that because he's now inside the Melton verse. He's melted together with them.
He must be so mad and seething in gay. But yes, I'm all of those things, but not because of talking about you. I'm that because of TV dinners as a child.
All right, so but let's think about this statement for a second. So Aaron talks more about Nick Rekieta than he does about April. Well, April's his ex-wife. He has a new girlfriend. So I would hope that he's not talking about his ex-wife as much. Second of all, talking about Nick is very profitable, especially for Aaron, who I think his show really like doubled in size after all this drama started. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Aaron's show was like 100 to 200 live viewers. And then he started talking about Nick's stuff and it started to shoot up to about like 400 or 500. And I think now it's kind of like an average range of like 300 to 400. I think that's kind of standard for Aaron. I'm not too sure though, because I think we stream at relatively similar times. So I don't have any time to check. Unless I'm like on an alt tab or something. But if anyone knows for real or for sure, they can tell me about that. But yeah, so like when you're saying that Aaron's talking about Nick, that means that Aaron's working. Aaron's making money. Now, the problem is that Nick is talking about Aaron all day, every day as well, but he's doing it as a chatter while he's paying Melton. You see, there's a bit of an issue here. Aaron's stock's going up in this behavior. Nick's stock's going down because he's just wasting his time, his life, and his money in this show where people just lust after and they're waiting the clock out on Aaron's children getting to the age where they can start stalking them.
What is going on? This man talks about me every day for 8 months. Like, Nick needs to shut up.
And I get, like, the thing is, there's no sense of self-awareness here oh my goodness, Aaron's talking about me every day, while he's literally on stream with a show that's entire theme is talking about Aaron. And Nick's entire MO is just talk more about Aaron rather than paying his mortgage off.
About me right now. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, the ape
And
has
now I
escaped.
have to fist fight him because of his harebrained concoction? Okay.
Now, I would like to see. I think that's where the story should end. I do want to see Nick and Aaron in the ring together. I think that'd be very interesting and very entertaining. And I think the fact that they haven't put this together already shows that they just don't care about putting on a good show for the audience. Now, it does. Nick egging on and entertaining the idea of boxing Aaron doesn't really bode very well for his wife's restraining order against him for the revenge porn stuff. You kind of, if you get a restraining order, in theory, you don't want to be involved with these people. And it's like, well, the wife is a different person. They're not like, come on now, stop it. I know that they're basically separated at this point because she's already in the Delta Quadrant. That's where her brain and her soul and her heart lives, and her body is just physically next to Nick in bed. But come on. Nick should at least have the propriety to stop talking about Aaron if he really wants his wife to stop, to have this restraining order go anywhere.
Hey, I mean, I guess. Sounds good.
Well, I haven't revealed yet what we talked about, so I'm saving that for the end. So don't.
Now, I don't exactly know what Melton's talking about here, the secret reveal, but I believe what it is that there's some screenshots floating around where Melton has contacted, allegedly, Aaron's boxing gym, and they found out some details that, like, maybe he's not like a coach or something. Now, Aaron has posted counter DMs that show that he is. So it's like, it's just whoever you trust in this situation. I don't know which side is true without calling the boxing ring myself, which I'm not going to do because I just want to remain an outside observer. I don't want to get in the middle of this because that's the best place to be, is on the outside looking in. Trust me. At least when it comes to these sort of clusterfucks. But I think that's the big drama that they found, is that even though Nick has seen Aaron boxing, even though he's been to the gym, he says that he's not like a real boxer or something, which doesn't make sense, I guess, because maybe he's just an amateur or something. Who gives a shit, right? But he's seen him in the ring. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Blow it up.
Oh, Velja was the Delta Quadrant? Okay, you got me. You got me, guys. You got me.
Okay, I'll try not to.
All right. Thank you.
I'm baffled. Man. Like, look, I'm basically like George Foreman and also Digstown combined into
again.
one massive super boxer with my immaculate record.
Well, he's getting
I train
nervous.
boxers at the local gym.
He doesn't want to do this. He's getting nervous, and now he's starting to add like we should get a face painter and a balloon girl, and like he just.
Now I think Aaron's side of this is that because Melton is offering to pay Nick to come down to Vegas for this event because he's desperate to sell tickets, and he offered the same thing to Aaron. Aaron has said he wasn't going to take the money, but he would do it for free. But now he's backing out because he said that he can't get involved because his lawyer said he can't. So I don't know what's true. I don't think there's any way to know, but I want to see these charges come. I want something to materialize from them.
Like adding all this other shit now to distract from the fighting.
None of this is
Could you
normal adult
imagine
behavior.
if
None of
you're
them are
like-
normal adults. What do
If
you
you've
expect?
done 2 stand-up acts at random bars in the middle of like Delaware, and you bombed both of them, and you're like, look, one night Dave Chappelle challenged 8 comics to a joke-off, and all of them left home in wheelchairs from the raping that they got.
Oh my
Now
God.
I'm going to do that
Holy
same thing
shit.
to you, except you're going to die. It's like, wait,
Like, I was watching Maddie the other day, and there was something that that Josh Moon said, and he said that Nick should never become a writer because he's incapable of conveying ideas to an audience, which is very embarrassing because he talks a lot about his English degree, right? But can you imagine what a book from Nick would actually be? It would be all Denny jokes, like chapter 1 on how to have lunch at Denny's with a cop. He has no sense of being able to relate to the common person. He's so coked out. He's so wet brained. It's like Swiss cheese in there that he just can't convey his ideas in any way that makes sense to anyone that doesn't have a degree in Rekieta Spurgery like I do. Okay. It's Wilshire Boulevard 2. No, because Wilshire Boulevard was an actual story that got completed. Nick's book is never coming out. As much as he talked about it, right?
Where is this confidence and bravado coming from?
I want to
Like,
put
the guy is he's a 6'3" bowl of pudding.
yeah,
man.
but like you're
he's
short.
not
You're a little guy, right? You're like officially 4'10" or something here, and so like when like I'm 6'5", so I can just tell you like we're used to be looking down at everyone, being like, yeah, everyone's small, everyone's tiny. So Aaron's never seen me in person, so he just thinks I look like a cake pop.
That is what Melton looks like, though. Did I have this in the records? Hold on a second. Let me see. I thought I had a picture. Like Melton has got this same body type that Ethan Van Sciver has. You know, like the Dr. Robotnik and the little egg flying machine. I thought I had this in my copies, but I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. I found it. There we go. This is the Melton physique and also the Ethan Van Sciver physique, where it's like it's literally if you just put them in the little egg thing. You know that Dr. Robotnik flies around in? Dr. Eggman? This is what they're talking about. Yeah, holy fuck, exactly. Like that, you might not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like. Holy, like how does this even work? Where does the spine go in here? You know what this looks like? Oops, hold on a second. Let me break out the old crime lab. Sorry if I flashbanged you there. All right, here we go. You know what this reminds me of is like this like the skeletal structure doesn't even make sense to me. Because in theory, the spine goes like this, but that doesn't make sense because like the spine can't curve like that, surely. Can I make this brush thicker? There we go. So what I think is happening here is I imagine there's like a little dude inside this body, and he's like piloting like a flesh golem, like this, right? And the rest of this is just like a machine. And there's like little seat here, basically. And he's got like little good gears and knobs, and there's like little things. This is what it looks like to me. Because how does this work? Like, how does this body type work? It's like goes like this, and then there's like a what the fuck is this? What is this, like a 70-degree angle? Like, do spines work like that? I don't know. This seems sus to me. I don't know. This has got to be like a deep fake or something. I can't believe this is being real. But yeah, if you put him in the little egg machine that, like, you know, it flies around, it's got like little bowl like here, and it's got a little propeller down here. There we go. And he's like going around and kidnapping all the baby animals, which makes sense for Melton's MO. So there you go. All right, let's continue though with this burgery.
You know I'm 6'2.5", right?
Also,
No, I had
Rob
no
Lawrence
idea.
gifted 6 memberships. Thank you very much.
He's barely taller than me. He just carries around 60 pounds of pudding on him.
Got it.
Like, that's all.
Can somebody tell me what is Nick's fascination with people that have with fat? Why is he so fat phobic? Now, I hate fat people too, but I don't go around like obsessing about fat people every day. You know, I just like, you know, lose some weight or something, you know, because when I see a fat person at the gym, I'm like giving them the thumbs up. I'm like, good on you. You're improving yourself. Right. But I don't like Nick is absolutely obsessed. Like to the point that he has like dyslexia, like not dyslexia. I mean, I have dyslexia, I guess. What is it? Body dysmorphia, which is a woman's disease. He has anorexia. He gaslit his own brain into thinking he was so fat when he was just like a regular, like we made the chunkator jokes a little bit, right? But he had a little bit of a tummy. He wasn't like in terrible shape or anything. He just had a dad bod. It's fine. He's like 45 or something. But then he gaslit himself into becoming a spooky skeleton, like an actual like xylophone machine that just like you just hear the music right playing as soon as Nick walks in the door, and he's like, I've finally become attractive. But it's just like disgusting. Nobody likes the skinny male aesthetic, right? Because men are supposed to be strong. That's like the natural thing for men. It's like that's what you want to be. You want to be strong and powerful as a man, and then thin and dainty as a woman. Those are like the classical things. So it's very strange. It's very strange for Nick. I don't know. Somewhere along the way, I think what happened is that Nick's first girlfriend was probably like really fat, and she probably blew him off. That's probably what happened. Like Nick says that, like, oh, Miss Lady Rackles was my only girlfriend. Yeah, fuck off. Let's not. I don't believe this for a second. He had a fat girlfriend in high school, and she broke his heart, and that's why he hates fat people so much. I guarantee you that's what happened. Guarantee it. I can't do 20. I could do 20 push-ups. I can definitely do 20 push-ups. Oh my goodness. Been there, done that says, I'm fat, just allergic to excuse. Very good. Very good. Oh my goodness. I 100%, I would put $100 on that. I guarantee you he had a fat girlfriend or a fat chick that he liked and that blew him off or cheated on him or something. And that's why he hates fat people. That's gotta be it. Unfortunately, there's no way to prove it unless that fat girlfriend from his past comes into the limelight. But I guarantee you that's what happened.
Guys, he's in the shape of abstract.
Got it.
Like,
What does he mean by that? Aaron is in the shape of abstract? What does he mean by that, chat? What? Abstract shapes? Yes, it's true. I am allergic to reading. Oh my goodness. What does he mean? That's like another Denny's joke right there.
I don't know where any of this comes from. I don't know where his bravado comes from. I've never seen him jog like this. He fancies himself a boxer, but he can't.
Okay, so Nick ran a marathon once, and it had such an adverse effect on his body, he developed a heat allergy, which is just an allergy to working, to moving yourself, to like actually being a functioning human. So for a man that did one run and then literally get just hives from going outside now, I don't know if you should be talking about Aaron not being able to do jogs. I'm pretty sure he can jog. I'm pretty sure cardio is actually a big part of boxing. And I think when I think when Aaron was going to box Ralph, he posted a picture of him like running around the gym or something, sweating and shit. So, I mean, did you see Aaron building up a sweat when he was fucking your wife, perhaps? I mean, that probably takes a lot of cardio since she probably does none of the work because she's like watching shit on her phone while she's getting railed. Maybe Aaron built up a sweat while he was balls deep in Mrs. Rekieta. I don't know.
Even spell cardio. I'm like, I don't understand. I've watched him spar people, right? Like I
God damn it. I've never seen Aaron do any cardio except for when he was fucking my wife. She's a lovely woman, by the way. Very respectable lady. Holy shit.
seen it multiple
How's it
times,
going,
and I'm like you're just a heavy bag with legs instead of a chain.
You're saying he's basically the goo inside of a lava lamp?
Hold on a second. This is the man that's calling you goo inside of a lava lamp. This is the man calling you the goo inside of a lava lamp? Holy shit. Oh my god. All right, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Right, and I'm not a fighter, man. I like had my time with martial arts.
Okay, so the deepest lore in this is Nick went to go sign up for Taekwondo, and he came back as a male cheerleader. He came back as a male cheerleader because it's awesome to hang out with cheerleader girls, right? But then he goes on to talk about like his illustrious career as a cheerleader, where they had underwear parties where just the male cheerleaders showed up. So, okay, I don't know. Dave with 2 pounds says, I had a heat allergy when I drank heavily. I don't know if this is a joke or if you actually had that, but hopefully that's just a joke at Nick's expense. Oh dear. But Nick did develop his own diet, which was 200 calories of crackers and the rest of it were whiskey. It's the diet that allows you to keep drinking and lose weight. Fuck off, Phoebe. Taekwondo don't. Very clever. Very clever. Very clever.
25 years ago, but like I'm not a fighter by any stretch of the means. I don't go around challenging people or saying like I could beat.
No, he doesn't go around challenging people because he's too busy running away from Rontoya in donut shops and cornering women in the elevators. Like that's the only thing that he fights is women. Holy shit.
Beat the hell out of them. But I'm like, I've watched you fight, and I don't know where your braggatry comes from. Like you don't. He's not.
Does Aaron actually brag about his achievements in boxing? I think he only ever says like, I like boxing, and I will happily box other people. Like that's not really being braggadocious. Like if Aaron was going around saying I'm going to knock the shit out of all of these people, then maybe he is saying this, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I think they're just building up this straw man of Aaron in their minds. So who can say? Who can say? But I don't know. Like the Aaron hating sector is very funny because, I mean, I guess they probably think that the Rekieta hating sector is funny as well. Like because you never know what the different point of views and everything. But the Rekieta hating sector makes sense to me because Rekieta lied about his personality. He built up this big audience based on a lie. He went back on his morals. It makes sense. But did Aaron ever do that? Like Aaron always was just, he's like, well, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. But I've always been a piece of shit. Like Aaron has never really been like this really like I said, braggadocious guy. Like, so it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what Aaron did to Melton to get him so worked up. But again, I guess this is just the different sides of the aisle or something. Because it makes sense for me for the A-logging for Nick, but I don't get the Aaron stuff. People that don't like Aaron really don't like Aaron too. And I'm not an Aaron fan. People think that I am like a big Aaron fan just because I promote Stonies. But look, I got to eat too, okay? But who can say? Who can say?
Good. The people he trains beat him at sparring.
Yeah. Children.
Doesn't that just mean that like he's a good trainer? Like typically, I guess that is a little bit embarrassing. If Aaron's a coach and then he's getting beaten up by all his... No, is that embarrassing? Because typically you want the coach that like the basketball coach isn't great at like he may have been good at basketball in the past, but he's certainly not better than the players, right? Otherwise he'd be in the game. So that makes sense. Now, did Aaron lie about his coaching credentials? Perhaps. But it sounds like he did actually help some people spar out. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not that invested in the story of Aaron to go check up on his boxing credentials.
Like routinely. I mean, some children, yeah, but I'm talking about like look, Aaron is 220 to 225 pounds. When he's, depending on how many Casey's breakfast pizzas he ate that day. But it's like, when he's quote unquote training people, yeah, I mean, if they put him against a middleweight and he swings full force and catches one on the chin,
Melson Bros Restaurant and Pub
get hurt a little bit.
What's going on here? Like, is Melton so bored of Nick's story? He just play. Is this like when I play like the Simpsons thing when Max can't stop talking? Is that what he's doing here? Right, where is it?
No, where were we? Oh yeah. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt. Which
is that what's going on here? Why did Melton start playing a commercial for what appears to be an eatery? I'm not sure if this is a Stonies reference or if it's just he hates listening to Nick talk and he just wants to get out of here.
Against the middleweight and he swings.
And yeah, Andrew's right. That 225, that's like 100 kilos for a metric bros out there. For a 6'3" guy, which is actually my height. So I'm 6'3", 100 kilos or 220 pounds. That's actually pretty much ideal weight. You don't want to be under that weight as a man. I think Nick is the same height as well. He's 6'3", but he weighs like 70 kilos. Or so. It's really weird. That's like a New Zealand woman's weight. It's very strange to me. I don't know.
Full force and catches one on the chin, they might like get hurt a little bit.
Like,
I've never seen this man put someone in physical distress. He's had the opportunity to. I have seen him get his fucking shit pushed in by the people he's training because, he's a heavyweight and some guys are like 245, 250 farm boys.
Is this I'm just like perplexed. This ad. Surely it's a dig at Stonies, or does he just hate Nick's story so much he's trying to like, come on, play the music, finish it up. We got places to be.
And they start swinging, they catch him in the ribs. When this man was last at my house, he was
he was fucking my wife the last time it was my house. What a ridiculous person. Where's this story going, Nick?
Recovering from a rib injury from getting hit one time.
Trying to suck his own dick.
With a guy.
No, Kayla was doing that for him. That's the problem. I don't know why you want to keep bringing up that he was at your house fucking your wife. Oh my goodness, Aaron got a rib injury and he came in to recover at your house and your wife took care of him. Holy shit. Does he actually just not see this? I just don't get it.
He's one punch landed clean on his ribs in a sparring match. Just one from a guy. And he's like, well, I picked the only white guy to spar with, but I probably shouldn't have because he was an actual amateur boxer.
I mean, that's not like, I don't know that much about professional fighting, but a lot of people go down from one hit. It just takes one good hit to lay someone out. So it's, again, a weird thing to say, but I guess so, right? I don't know. I don't know. 200 Studio says, where have you been? First stream of 2025. That's not true. I streamed on the 1st of January. And with another 2 says, clearly the diner is a mid-roll ad. I don't know. It would have to be, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense. I think he just hates listening to him talk. Ask Andy Warski. Well, there you go. Andy Warski got knocked out one punch, and he was in like a giant arena. So it happens all the time. Oh, poor Andy. He got robbed. I wish we saw the Andy versus Ralph fight. That would have been great. I can't believe we got robbed out of that. Cowardly Ethan Ralph.
The dude fucking caught him once, and he was out for over 6 weeks. Like, Aaron, you just...
Is he actually, like, how long does it take the average human to repair a bone? Isn't 6 weeks pretty reasonable to heal a bone? Like, the Aaron guy, he broke a bone. It took him 6 weeks to recover. What a loser. While he was lying on his back, getting his dick sucked by my wife. What a loser. Like, what do you mean? I mean, I've never broken a bone. I'm one of those, like, few people that, like, because it's like something like 80% of people have broken a bone. I've had stitches, though, but I haven't broken a bone. So I don't know what it's like. But I'm pretty sure it takes, like 10 weeks or something. You're in a cast or some shit. Like 6 weeks may actually be like a speedy recovery. I don't know. Seems like a weird thing to criticize someone from when you have a heat allergy so that you can't even go outside. You can't even do, like, he's literally allergic to work, for God's sake. I mean, he hasn't streamed since August. What are we coming? That's like, what? Isn't that like 6 months ago? Like half a year? Professional streamer? He broke a boner?
Like, you don't get hit regularly. You don't hit people regularly. You barely hit a bag regularly.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here soon. So I can't. Can you
wrap it up, Nick? Gotta get out. Like, sorry, Nick, you're just not pulling enough viewers on the pedophile show. We're gonna need you to wrap this up. We got places to be here. Like, we can't just use it up all the time.
Under this little piggy.
Probably.
Yeah, call into this little piggy. I can't do this. I gotta wrap up soon.
Sorry,
what I mean about no. So we got robbed of 2 fights. Andy versus Tonka was the first fight. That was going to happen in Knoxville. But there was going to be a secondary fight that was going to be Ralph versus Andy Warski, and I believe that was the one that Keemstar was setting up. And they were going to get $100,000 bag. I think it was going to be divided between the two of them, so it'd be like $50,000 each. But Ralph couldn't do that because he couldn't get permission from Daddy Jim, Internet Aristocrat, to fight. He's like, Ralph will fight for free and get his shit pushed in on the streets of Portugal twice. He'll do that for free, but he won't fight Andy in the ring for $50,000 and potentially $100,000. I'm not actually sure on the details because Daddy Jim wouldn't allow him. Not sure what Daddy Jim says about getting your purse stolen in Portugal, but I assume he's not pro that happening, but who can say?
Optimize your show.
No, it's fine, but we'll be on at 1 or at 4.
All right, so that's the end of the first clip. Now they do go on to talk. They go on to the next show, which is the show with the annoying New Zealand guy. The puppet's not here, or I think the puppet's sometimes. I kind of like the puppet. I'll admit, I like the puppet. The puppet's funny. He doesn't have the best choice in friends, but I don't know who this other guy is. Carl, maybe he's fine. I don't know. But Nick decided to, I guess, go to his karaoke room and stream. Actually, this reminds me, because we're going to go through these in not necessarily chronological order, but there's some other things I need to talk about. That annoying New Zealand guy, do you mean me? No, that's not true. No, but there's an interesting conspiracy theory, is that the reason that Nick is streaming from his karaoke room and the reason he's always missing his profile picture when he joins streams recently, is that some people think it's because he had his computers taken away from him by the investigators. Now, there's no evidence for that, but it is a fun little legal theory. But this is a quick one, 30 seconds, where Nick's going to tell you something about how stupid you are, because you don't understand. You chat. You don't understand how money works. So Nick's going to explain it to us.
This dude's boring. Pay your mortgage and shut up.
Don't tell me how to live.
Shall we see it spoken?
This guy is a creep.
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 And to be fair, he couldn't have taken the loan out if he hadn't paid the mortgage. He paid the mortgage.
Right.
I think I paid my mortgage off today. So
Congrats.
there you go.
It's awesome.
Well done.
Cheers,
Nice.
y'all. My house is now back to being free and clear. Sorry you don't understand how to leverage debt.
All right, guys. So you don't understand how to leverage debt. See, the way to leverage debt is you take out a big loan on your house that's been paid off for. You then forget to pay for this loan for over a year when you're making the most money of your life, taking your credit score to the point where the sheriff puts out a notice for an auction to foreclose your home. That's how you build credit, and that's how you build an empire, by leveraging your debt. Sorry, chat, you just don't understand it. You just don't understand this. This is the big brain move, is that when you do so poorly in not paying back your mortgage for an entire year, he didn't make a payment. When he's got rich oil parents, right? He couldn't pay it off for an entire year, to the point that he loses his second home. The second home that he's storing his secondary bitch in as well, the trap house. Okay, he had a perfect setup where he could go back at home and sleep in the big house with his the big bed. Then he could go over to the trap house, avoid his wife, and just bang the woman that's only eating well water and deer. So she's staying rail thin, just the way Nick likes them. But you do so poorly and not paying for this that you lose that house, and then you lose the chick too. And Nick's very upset about losing April. We know. But I guess you just don't understand how to leverage debt, chat. You just don't understand. Do I like Foot Right Flats? Absolutely. That's a great show. I've watched Foot Right Flats many times as a child, and the comic is also very good. Very fun. Very fun. But there's a first little clip you got for you there. No, I think this is from the Steel Toe Morning. So we're going to go over to Aaron's show for a second. And this is Steel Toe Morning Show. Aaron won't be boxing Nick Rekieta or Patrick Melton. Criminal investigation. And then we'll go to some. I've got a fun one for you tonight. We're going to find out why Nick is so gung ho about the cops being responsible for his daughter testing positive for cocaine.
For shits and giggles, because they said, "Well, call your lawyer and set something."
All right. So the previous, there is some extension to this clip, but it's not too important. He basically was talking about setting up a fight with Melton and the boys.
So I call my lawyer. I tell him about it. My lawyer tells me, "No, you're not doing that." I said, "What do you mean? I'm not going to fucking, it's light work. It's not even work, actually. It's just a silly little thing." He goes, "Yeah, you can't." I said, "Why?" Two of the guys involved in this thing have an open criminal investigation against them for crimes they could have committed against you. So basically he said, retard, no.
So Nick, what, if you're not following this, he's implying that it's in Melton and Nick specifically. They have an open criminal investigation against them for the digital trespassing, or whatever you want to call what they did to him, accessing his Google accounts and downloading his materials. So if you're going to trust Aaron, so yeah, they've got to put that caveat on. If you trust Aaron, he is pretty much convinced that there is a criminal investigation currently against the both of them, Melton and Nick, for their little email scandal, email gate, whatever.
I'm like, oops. He
And
goes,
that's why
yeah,
he
you can't do that. I said, okay. And then another person writes to me and they said, Aaron, we're thinking that this is probably a gimmick, that this is a trick to get you to violate something that you haven't violated.
Okay, so what he's talking about here is the restraining order against Kayla. So he shared the porns that Nick or Kayla sent him with Gino, and then he got a revenge porn charge against him that he seems to have dodged pretty well, but he does have a restraining order against him with Mrs. Rackets, Lady Rackets, lady, right? Okay. And so the idea here is that they want to invite Aaron down to Las Vegas, and Lady Rackets will be there, and then they'll trick him into violating his restraining order, and then that'll make him be shut down and they'll destroy his life. Like, this is the thing that I kind of don't understand about the Aaron haters is, like, when I make fun of Nick, I just want to make fun of him. I want to have some chat giggles. We want to have some laughs. We want to have a good time, but I don't want to destroy his life. I'm not like calling up the Minnesota people and trying to get people to, like, hang him up from a tree or anything. I just want to have a laugh from the distance. Okay. I want to point and laugh as the monkeys dance in the circus. But like the Aaron haters, they want to destroy his life. Like, they want him to go to prison. They want him to be banned from his gym. They just want to destroy everything that he has. It's very strange. You do. Foxhound does want him to suffer. Well, I mean, everyone has their own thing. I don't personally want to see people like I don't want to just. I want to laugh at what's happening. I don't necessarily want to be a part of the downfall. Is what I'm saying. Solon the Lich with 50 ARS, which I have no idea what that is. Says, we can't understand, Nick. We're nerds who don't do coke and pot while living in a polycule with a bit of child neglect on the side. Very true. Very true. Now, you know, what's the crazy thing is Nick actually goes back and confirms like child neglect in some of these clips. They just joke about the SpaghettiO story because in one of the, like when he's on Melton's show, one of his kids comes in and asks for like a quesadilla or something. And Nick's like, no, you can't have one. And, you know, it's fine to tell a kid that maybe they can't have a quesadilla. But if you also have people talking about how you refuse to make them food and they're hungry and Aaron had to make the food and Nick went and confirmed the story, maybe you don't joke about that, is what I'm saying. Who can say? Who can say? And Andrew in the chat says, hold on, where is it? Just a dash of child neglect. You know, just a dash of cocaine. Wait until you see where Nick's source is for his cocaine defense story is from. That's what's coming up next, I think.
And that if you go into this certain geography, you could violate it. I'm like, why does it all have to be gay ops? Why can't it ever be just...
It's 24-hour gay ops. They never stop, Aaron. That's what you're going to learn about the sector, okay? And I guess you're not really in the sector. It's like Devil versus Jason or whatever. I don't know how it works. The lines are getting very blurry at this point. But it's 24-hour gay ops all day, every day in Discords. That's all people do.
Hey, Aaron, we want to do this thing. We trust you to handle it. Handle it. And there's no like gimmicks and bullshit about it. And it's just gimmicks and bullshit every time. But yeah, my lawyer said there's a very, very pending criminal investigation into both of them. Now, I thought
when he says pending, like, do we believe this, chat? Pending criminal investigation? I do want to believe because they did do something pretty bad. But do we believe that Aaron's story is accurate here, that there's a pending criminal investigation against both Nick and Melton? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And be sure to like the stream while you're up there. I want to believe. There'll be more content if there is. We'll see about it.
It was just one. I was under the understanding that one person was under criminal investigation. The other person was like, what do you call it? An interested party. But it's both that are under criminal investigation. So I got to stay hands off in terms of proximity on that one. And then he said, and by the way, that investigation is currently affecting your current case.
So I guess he's talking about the restraining order case.
Okay. He said, yeah. So fucking stop.
I guess the implication here would be that if Nick is ongoing, it's ongoing effort by Nick to harass Aaron, then that would invalidate his restraining order because, you know, typically when you've got a restraining order, you don't want to be left alone. If you get the restraining order, then you continue to antagonize somebody. Probably doesn't look good to the judge. So I think that's what Aaron's implying here, but we don't quite know, right?
Nick and Patrick, by the way, people are saying who? Nick and Patrick. It's the computer thing. It's the computer deal. So then he says also, call the police tomorrow.
What do you mean by that?
They need a few things. And I said, oh, I guess I let my mouth run a little bit early, thinking that I could just go do that. But apparently there's gay ops on that side, and then also a criminal investigation into 2 of them on the other side.
Well, it's gay ops all the way down. I can confirm that for Aaron. All right, so we got to, let's see. So we'll listen to this one first. So this is on Will Heron's channel. Why am I not subscribed? I'm always subscribed to Will Heron. That's strange. He gave me shit about that last time. Little Piggy. I guess the show's called The Little Piggy. Nick talks Aaron, always making him the hero. Why tests came out positive. So we'll watch this one, and then we'll go into Nick's actual thoughts. And there's some DMs, some leaked DMs that show why Nick thinks the way that he does. So now this is I guess this is their show. So like I said, the puppet's kind of interesting. He's kind of funny. Not a big fan of the New Zealand guy. Actually, I'm a very serious coder for Moody. I mean, for the Melton show. I made the app for the children voices that we like to sexualize on this show. Just a little New Zealand guy. Nothing to worry about. No, not a big fan of that guy. Don't know who this guy is, Carl, but maybe he's okay. But the puppet's kind of funny. I kind of like the puppet. All right, let's see what he says.
I don't know. It's like everyone's going to be tuned in to find out what your take is on this. You've talked about how Aaron's made himself the protagonist and the hero of every story. It was actually somebody else with these stories that he's telling. So will you, when you're able to, finally open up and tell us what happened?
Within reason, yeah. But
Now you see how I mentioned this earlier, but you see how Nick has his no face logo. This is because he's using his non-usual PC. And the question is why he's always using his non-usual PC. Is he afraid of going down to the bunker? Is the PC gone because it's been confiscated? We don't know. But he is in the karaoke room and he eventually turns on his camera. So this is, I guess, earlier in the stream.
the hard part about it is, and this is something that Aaron doesn't like have any concept of, is that there are two other people in this story who have not been vocal. One in particular.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. Now, it is true that Kayla, Nick's wife, I guess, whatever, in name only, really, she doesn't want to be a part of the online sphere. And she doesn't want to be a part of the online sphere because she tried to be a part of the online sphere and she got blown the fuck out when she went on to Nick's show and tried to shill her CBD oils. I guess it could be CBD oils if it's she selling them, right? Like the MCU, the CBD oils, who knows? But she got a really bad response from the audience and they wanted to, and everyone booted her to the side and she kind of disappeared and just went back to the Delta Conjure after that. Now, April did want to be a part of the online sphere because she tried to be a character. She was originally a character on the Steel Toe show. She would take her clothes off for money. She then went on to do great things like becoming a mistress. So very, very great character development from her. And then she was very happy to post all day, every day on Twitter, engaging people in the conversation until very recently. So maybe now she doesn't want to be a part of the story, but she definitely did back then. So that's not exactly true. But we'll continue.
Who has said literally nothing. And there are parts of stuff just relating to me that those things have reflections on those people and how people will perceive them, and they just want to move on with their lives. Like, it's not Aaron's.
Okay, so Nick is saying that his wife wants to move on with her life. So why do you keep engaging these people, Nick? Nick, honey, can we just stop engaging in the internet bullshit and stop getting people to call me a whore? Nick, can you just stop going onto the show and talking about Aaron? No, honey, this is my hobby. This is my hobby. I've got to do this. You don't understand. I'm too invested in the story, honey. Nick, please, I don't want to be part of the online sphere anymore. You don't understand. They're making fun of me. I need to be friends with the pedophile group. They like me. They're not making fun of me all the time. It's all he has left. Yeah, pretty much. But his wife literally wants to just get out of the situation. He can't stop it. It's like, sorry, honey. Look, I'm very invested in this online drama and trying to convince the world that Aaron drunk my cum out of your pussy. So I'm going to have to keep engaging with the online trolls. Okay, I guess you're right. Dad knows best, right? Who can say?
It's like, no, I'm just telling.
What are his viewers like nowadays? Nick's? He doesn't stream. He's got no numbers. I think if Nick came back, he would have a pretty consistent 1,000 to 2,000 viewers. I think it would be really high in the first stream back, and then it would dip down. But I think that his audience would not. I think the audience that got betrayed will never come back. But he could definitely have like a staple of people. His audience on locals is like 70 people, and 50 of them are A-logs. I think that's one of the reasons he hasn't gone back to streaming yet, because he knows that he's going to get like a very lukewarm response. But like hypothetically, if he did come back and he just stayed like talking about boring legal topics, and then trying to put his funny spin on it, then I think he could build up another audience again. Like, I never think he really ever like truly gone unless you actually get deleted or something. Well, that's true though. That's a big problem for him, is that he's lost his search engine relevance. If you search for Nick Rekieta, his channel doesn't even come up anymore for me. People talking about him comes up. So it would be very hard for him to get back into it. But I think that the word of mouth would spread enough that the first stream back would be a big one, because people want to see if he's going to be like retarded. And then afterwards it'll dip down because it'd be just boring. But we'll have to see.
My story, like, I was great. 3 other people were criminal,
Scumbags.
murderer, child.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, I'm
It's
just
literally
talking
how he
about
painted it.
I just like there were 3 other people there. It's like, oh my god, which
All right, I'll respond to this one. Hold on a second. You're all trash, LOL. I just want to point and laugh. Yes, that's true. No, you don't. No, that is true. I do want to do that. You're all grifting. Yes, I am grifting. I am pointing and laughing, and I'm also making money. That's my hobby. As if you're doing everyone a favor by informing. No, I'm not trying to do anyone a favor. I'm just trying to have fun. What are you worried about? Yes, I'm making money. Yes, I'm having fun. Yes, I'm pointing and laughing. You don't like it, don't watch. I'm sorry that Nick isn't there for you and that he's not streaming for you, but this is the only game in town now. Oh dear.
Wrong with you? Like,
even before he told the stories, Nick, I couldn't believe it. He's just like, yeah, you know, April decided to take one route and I decided to go the good way and do all the great things. And someone else did the opposite of that. It's like, yeah, we know what you're saying.
We get it.
Yeah.
I
The other
don't
thing
do
is-
drugs.
The other thing is amazing about him is like now how things have morphed so heavily. So many of these things, it's like, Aaron, this is your idea. Like,
It's true. He
this
does spend all day
story was
doing it.
your idea, and he's like, I can't believe. Like, okay, so he's told the story of how he proposed all of this to April in Vegas, right? Like
Right,
she's
yes.
in the shower. He goes in there with his palms sweaty, mom's spaghetti, and he's like, babe, I just need you to get out of the shower, right? Don't even towel off. Just
Nick's Melton voice is really aggravating me. I don't know what it is. Like he's just trying to copy how Melton sounds, because I guess he's like looks up to him or something. But I find it very annoying. Lemmy Lawless with a 500 yen. Oh, hello, fellow Japan bro. Says Nick used to have a small army of lawyers on his streams. Now he's showing up onto pedo streams. LMO. Very true. Very true. It's amazing how much free work he got out of other people, and it was a reciprocal relationship. Don't get me wrong. Like people certainly boost their careers, and some even launch their entire careers from his channel. But I think he really doesn't appreciate them in any way, which he never really rewarded them. Like, and you don't have to, right? But he did say that he was going to. That's the thing. He actually said on stream he was going to compensate them, and a couple people are very butthurt about not receiving that compensation.
come sit with me on the bed sopping wet. And I need to tell you about this thing that I want to do. And I'm really worried about it. And now he's like, April was saying how she wanted to do this type of stuff, and she just gaslit me into believing that I wanted to do it. I had no agency in any of.
I'm not sure that this is something Aaron has said. I'm pretty sure Aaron said he was a piece of shit, and he did make a mistake. Like Aaron has a lot of faults, but I think he hasn't tried. I mean, everyone always tries to make themselves look a little bit better, right? Of course, you glaze yourself a bit when you're telling these stories, but I think Aaron said like he just straight up fucked up in this entire endeavor. Like he said, like I made a big fucking mistake and I'm trying to move forward with it. So I don't know with this version of Aaron they're watching, but I don't know.
My decision making is like, homie, that like, and that's every story.
Yeah, every story, and Melton has done a great job documenting this. Every story has changed to be the opposite of what it first started as.
So here's something I've tried explaining to a few people.
All right, this
People
is going to
don't
be wild. Listen to this.
understand Aaron. They're like, oh, he's deceptive, or oh, he's lying, or he's changing stories. No. The man has no past,
No past.
present, or future.
So what does he mean by that? Aaron has no past, present, or future. He's just some ethereal idea that exists in Nick's mind. What do you mean he has no present? Like, I can understand no past, I can understand no future, but he has no present? What do you mean by this?
None of it exists.
Yes.
The only thing that exists is whatever he wants to be true right now for whatever reason. And
So he lives in the present, is what you're saying. If only now the moment matters, then that means he's living for the present. You just said he had no past, present, or future. What do you mean? Oh my goodness.
he will change,
Right.
even if talking to the same person in the same conversation within minutes, it will shift dramatically.
The
He-
projection is just fucking unreal. It's just so fucking unreal. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Aaron is Dr. Manhattan. He is. To these people, he is Dr. Manhattan. He's the undefeatable enemy that they've been trying to get. Like, they've got this entire team of people. These 5 crack minds got together to try and think about how they can stop Aaron Eamholt, Dr. Manhattan, in their universe from succeeding. And they just keep failing. And I've described Aaron as Mr. Magoo. He's like walking around, humming or whatever. And they're like trying to get him, but they keep slipping on banana peels and falling out of windows and shit. And Aaron's just like felting them just by existing. And it's not because Aaron's smart, or it's not because Aaron's clever or he's devious. It's just because they're so fucked up and stupid that they can't help slipping on these banana peels. Just as Aaron's just going about his life. It's really crazy, honestly.
He did it on his interview
Boxing
with,
challenge is a perfect example of
Yeah,
that. Like,
we've seen
we
it.
just saw this today. But yeah, go ahead, Nick. You're
Yeah,
spot on.
Another win for the
he-
toe.
He did it in his interview with Will Heron, where he's like, Nick's only option, the only thing he could do is to shut the fuck up. Like, he just has to be quiet. He has to do it. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, he stopped talking because he's a giant bitch. And like, why would you ever not?
Are these Will Heron interviews? Are people interested in seeing them? So they're just like these. It's like 40 minutes of interviews between Will and Aaron. They're kind of interesting. I'll watch them myself. There's a bit of funny shit where like Will kind of tricks Aaron into admitting that he knows what cum tastes like, sort of thing. But we might see it later. Maybe it's like an extended show goal or something. I with a 10 pound says best part of Nick's crash out was discovering the meme copium and Will Heron. I guess I see. The best part of it for you was discovering mine and his channels. He's like a big lolcow whale that dies, and its carcass is feeding all sorts of fun and crazy creatures in the deeps of the ocean. That's a very good way of explaining it. We're all just little lampreys and shit, feeding off this bloated corpse in the bottom of the ocean. I could see that.
Talk about it. You just go online. You just talk around it. But like, and he unironically believed each thing at each time he says it, and
just like Nick believes everything that he says. Like everybody says, the government's out to get him because of his radical liberal ideas.
This is true. It's not something he does. It's not a choice. There's very little in the way of manipulation from him on that. I mean, he's an excellent manipulator, but on.
So Nick just said that like Aaron will change the things that he says from one moment to the next, and he's like, "Well, Aaron's just a retard that doesn't know what he's doing, but he's also an excellent manipulator. He just doesn't know how he does it. He's like a manipulating empath. He's doing it subconsciously." What do you mean, Nick? Holy shit! This is just like pure projection. Like, how is Nick an expert on manipulation? He thinks he is. He was able to convince one. Well, actually, I guess he was able to convince two slatternly women to do what he wanted. So he thinks he's an expert on manipulating them, but he just didn't realize that his target's caliber was less than stellar. But there you go. Nick is Aaron. Aaron is he'll change what he's talking about any moment. He's also just a goober that doesn't know what he's doing, but he's also a master manipulator. He's everything and everyone at one time. He's not the past. He's not the present. He's just the Aaron. Oh my goodness.
That front, he is dead honest. He believes the reality that he sculpts constantly, and I don't think he's aware that he does it at all.
I agree.
But that's why
This is just holy shit. Aaron just believes the reality he sculpts for himself. Wow. Interesting take.
everybody is always responsible for anything bad. And if he admits to anything bad, I was the least bad one.
Yeah,
Right.
and
I mean, that's definitely arguable that Aaron was the least bad one. And I guess a lot of people described Aaron as the shiniest turd in the bowl. So maybe. Like, I would, if we had to look for the least bad person, what do you think, chat? Out of the four people, you've got the Minnesota 4, okay? You've got Aaron, the master manipulator, Nick, the Lord of Chaos, then you've got the two slatternly women. I think the only reasonable argument you can make is it's either Aaron is the least shitty or Kayla is the least shitty. The thing is, a lot of people give Kayla a lot of a free pass, but she's the mother. She's responsible. She's the second in command of this operation, right? I'm not so convinced that she gets off the hook for being the least shitty person, which is they're competing for the least shittiest, I guess, right? But no, she allowed this to happen in her house. She failed as much as Nick failed. So I don't know. Nick, now, Aaron did have children too, but his children didn't get taken away by the state. So that's why I think that Aaron's the least shittiest, because he was able to at least keep his kids from the police.
It's narcissism.
Everyone, to an extent, believes their own reality because that's just what perception is fundamentally. But
even this group of pedos doesn't agree with what Nick's saying. They're all like, what the fuck are you talking about? Everyone has their own. Yeah, of course they do. Everyone has their own perception. That's how life works.
He knows better because he won't get caught in stuff. He won't play a clip. Corndiff sent that clip in today of him back.
And Aaron did fuck up recently as well. He got tricked into playing a clip of Kayla on his stream. I think he deleted it, which I guess would technically be a violation of his restraining order. But they thought that this was going to destroy Aaron's life, but it didn't. Somehow he keeps making it. He can't keep getting away with it, chat.
Out of the boxing thing last time, and he just goes, "You know what, Corndiff? I'll Venmo you $5. I'm not going to play this. Watch him seethe." And it's he won't he knows he can't. He said that Melton begged me to come to Hackamania, said ticket sales aren't going well, and he needs me. Well, play that. He said he saw a clip of this. Why wouldn't you play it? It just makes.
Now, I saw the clip that Aaron was talking about, and Melton does say, look, he says, Nick, I'll pay for you to come down to Vegas, and I'll pay for Aaron to come down to Vegas. So is Aaron maybe gilding the lily a bit by saying begging? Sure, I can agree with that. But Melton did invite Aaron down to Las Vegas for his event, and he offered to pay for Aaron to come down. That kind of sounds like begging him to come down. That's what it is.
No sense.
Well, I also wanted to ask you about that. Are you offended that Aaron is so deeply denying this? I mean, I don't think he liked your take.
Again, this is one of those stories where it was his idea. I wasn't even there. I wasn't around. I wasn't in the room. I didn't know it happened until a couple days later.
You checked the footage. I get it.
I love when he's like, he just was willing to believe anything April allegedly may have told me because he was so mad and he hates me so much. I'm like, bro, I heard about this right in the middle.
I kind of like Tukey. Tukey's fun. So Tukey is the puppet, and as you can see here, he's got like a little headgear on. So he's got his boxing gear on, and he's got like a mouth guard that says "Cum Eater." Very funny, very funny. Tukey's better than this. I think Tukey needs to get out of this show. Like he's much funnier than the rest of these people.
Middle of everything,
right?
It's not like I heard about it yesterday.
Yeah, because they're all still getting along, right?
Story. To punctuate the point behind all of this, I have never been accused by the state of doing anything of the sort,
right?
Ever, and I never will. And
no, he was accused of child endangerment.
One of the most frustrating parts of this is that I will never have an opportunity to defend that allegation. Okay, I just won't.
All right. So before he goes into his explanation for everything, and we're going to do some bit of research on why he thinks that what he does. One thing that really perplexes me in this entire story is why Nick never got a second test. So the story as we understand it is the government took the kids, they did the drug test. One of the kids came back positive. There was never a test showing that they were clean. There's just one test showing that they were negative. And Nick has claimed that he didn't get the results of the discovery for this, which sounds strange. But he says that's what he claims, right? And then he talks about how the government says, like, he demanded a second test and the government said, no, we're not interested in doing a second test. Why would he not get a second test done? And it's like, well, the kids were in foster care, but he neglects to say that the foster care was his grandparents. Why wouldn't they get it done? And it's like, well, it was already long past due. Like, these tests are effective for apparently 90 days. He had his kids taken away from him for 77 days. The fact that he doesn't have a clean bill of health, a clean test result to show the internet or just to have for his own records doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And I just can't believe he wouldn't get that done. It makes no sense. If anyone got an explanation for this, I'm very happy to hear their point of view. But basically, it sounds like the government decided not to go forward with these charges for whatever reason. And then Nick was just like, well, I can't be bothered getting another test. They're not going to take if they're not going forward with the charges, why should I bother doing this done? It's just so passive and strange to me. I don't know. Maybe someone else has a reasoning for this. But surely the grandparents could have got this test done as well. And surely they would want to get this done. And Nick will go in to talk about how ineffective these tests for detecting cocaine are. But then, surprise, surprise, he has 90 days worth of clean tests that never got fucked up even one time. So again, it's very strange. Like all of the tests that he took, 100% accurate. He never did any coke while he was doing tests, right? The one that he got for his kids, 1 in 5 chance of failing. Who can say? It's very perplexing to me, and I just don't understand it. Maybe there's a good reason. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just coke brain striking again. Who can say? With another £5 says people get triggered if you say Aaron is easily the best one because they think that best equals good. He can still be bad and be the best one. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. I think is people just don't seem to understand that.
And I'll never get to ask them, how do you think it happened? Now, I have on video officers who handled allegedly illegal substances with their gloves on mere minutes later touching her hair.
So there is video.
So this is Nick's cope. This is how the drug test came back positive, is that the cop was handling cocaine with their gloves. Sorry, excuse me. And then the cop patted the kid's head, and then the powder got inside the hair. Now, we know that the test tests for metabolites inside the hair, and the hair is washed. Now, drug test errors can occur. There can be cross-contamination and things. But Nick goes on to say that he read a study that shows that when cocaine mixes with water, it can create these metabolites, and they can get mistakenly put inside the test somehow. And when do you see the source of where he did this research? It's a doozy, trust me. But this is how he understands it. It doesn't make sense to me because I'm pretty sure they wash the hair first and then they vaporize it, and it's the internal part of the hair. But this is Nick's explanation for what happened.
I have that on video. That video is currently part of a case that should be wrapping up sometime around February. But I have that. What I know is that aside from that, there is no plausible way that occurred. It could.
Okay. Actually, there is another plausible way that this could have occurred. You could have given your children cocaine, or they could have sampled some cocaine when you were watching. That is the most reasonable explanation, not some wild 1 in 1,000 coincidence there where the cocaine metabolizes on the skin with the sweat of the hair and then it gets stuck in like. There's actually a very reasonable explanation for this, and that's just you gave your kids coke. Now, I don't want to believe that actually what happened, but that's the only evidence that we have thus far, and you've presented no evidence to the contrary.
Have been a lab sample error.
Yep.
Lab sample errors do happen. Absolutely. Lab techs make mistakes. Maybe they mix up a hair. Maybe it was like, that was my theory, is like, surely it's got to be April or Kayla's hair that they mixed up the sample sort of thing. That's what I thought initially. If that were the case, why isn't there a second clean test? And why isn't it on the records? I mean, maybe that is what happened, but then why isn't there the second clean test? To me, it just makes no fucking sense.
One of the things people pointed out is we had all of the lab techs at the lab listed as potential witnesses in one of that may be subpoenaed. The reason is because in all of this time, we have still not been provided discovery around that test. All we have is a sheet of paper. They didn't provide discovery of any confirmatory tests.
I mean, what is the sheet of paper, though? Does that... Maybe that does comply with their discovery request if the sheet of paper just has the answers that you asked on it. I don't know. He needs to explain more.
A record of methodology that they used to do the test.
We get it. You feel bad.
Yeah, but they didn't provide a fail rate for the lab, a sample swap rate. Every lab has a fail rate and sample swap rate for like, what if you accidentally spill something in the sample? Like that happens. No human error occurs, and they have an actual rate for it.
Is something that we've seen happen. Yes.
Not the presence of cocaine.
Yeah, right.
Look,
human error does occur, and maybe the error was that Nick gave his kids coke. Maybe that was the human error, because I haven't seen any evidence to say that that's not what happened.
People don't have to believe me on this. There are like 7 metabolites of cane, and there's one of them. There's just one. It's benzocognine or something like that.
And it's
so Glitterfart says, what if someone spills something onto the sample? I'm not sure if you're saying this as a joke or not, but there is a very reasonable reason why this isn't the case. So it's not a test for cocaine. It's a test for a metabolite. The metabolite is, well, it's a metabolite that's created in the body when the body metabolizes cocaine. So it's not, cocaine isn't confused for the metabolites. Now, what Nick is claiming is that in certain situations that cannot be replicated in the lab, is that when cocaine and water or human sweat combine, they can create this metabolite. And then that metabolite got absorbed into the hair follicle, which is a bit of a stretch, but that's what his theory is. And his theory comes from a very crazy person that I'm going to show you briefly.
Awesome.
No, if you go read, drug testing is nowhere near as like robust as people think it is. They don't.
Then how come all of Nick's tests came back clean for 3 months? Look, drug testings make mistakes all the time, except for when I take a drug test and it's perfect.
Don't know.
Metabolite. No, you can say it different ways. Different parts of the world say things in different ways. You can say metabolite. You can say metabolite. It's fine. Billy Oki with a 2 Sigma Roller says, also the guy who called us fucks. Correct. Yes.
Most of it means they sweat patch testing. They don't even know how it actually functions, but.
Hey, look, the test that the government had me on, nobody knows how it works. You just put on a patch and it tells you if you're on drugs or not. It's witchcraft. There's no fucking science here. What do you mean by that? They don't know how the test works.
Anyway, this particular metabolite, benzocagnine, there are papers out there, and it's hard for them to test this, but it metabolizes outside of the body.
Hey, look, there's papers out there. It's very hard to reproduce in the lab, but you've got to trust me, bro. Okay? This is what we're on. We're on trust me, bro tier.
On skin in damp conditions. Usually, quote,
so his children's hair are damp.
The paper on a sweaty
He's
scalp.
got damp children.
Or in a sweaty area like an armpit or something like that. So the actual metabolite starts to occur outside of the body. There's no need for it to be ingested. Now, if you're talking about Norcocaine or one of the alcohol.
All right. So I just want to take an aside here. Let's assume for a second that everything Nick is saying is true. If everything Nick is saying is true, then he's admitting to being responsible to exposing his children to cocaine, because it was his cocaine that he brought into his house and his actions that brought the police to his house that then allowed them to touch his children, or not like Melton touches children. But I mean, the cops would spread the coke from one to the other. It's still your fault. And furthermore, if the metabolite does exist outside the body and it can be created outside the body, it is also more likely that the children just encountered the cocaine prior to the officers arriving. So you're still responsible. You still brought the coke to your kid's house. You're still responsible. It's your cocaine. Holy shit. Cocaine. Yeah, that's what it is.
Accompanying metabolites of coke, those do require to be in the body as far as
exactly
testing
what I'm saying.
goes.
I am. Even if you assume everything he's saying even if you assume everything he's saying is true, I think you mean he's admitting to exposing his children to cocaine. Yes, he is. He is.
Like I have to put something together on this at some point with citations, because I know people don't believe me.
They're all just making fun of him. Like they're all just shitting on him, and he thinks that they're his friends. Holy shit! With friends like these, honestly, who needs enemies?
But again, part
Papa's
of it,
falling asleep.
when you don't
Aaron's
get to fight this, like, I hired an expert to do this, but we didn't get a chance to fight it.
Oh well, the guy that you hired agreed with your point of view. Imagine that. Imagine that.
There's nothing we could do to make it happen.
All right, so we'll stop the clips here for a second, and we're going to jump over to Twitter now. Scarebro posted, industrious New Zealand fruit farmers have likely found the source of Nick Rekieta's research into the metabolism of cocaine in human sweat. You may recall Nick's detailed and continued denial that his children never ingested the substance and blames it on a cop contaminating her with the hair during the execution of the warrant. Nick claimed he would provide these citations soon, TM, much like he would tell us the whole story when he returns to streaming. Nick seems to have found this information not in a research paper, but on Quora. He basically went to fucking Reddit, searching for how can kids get cocaine in them, and he found a result on Quora. Is it Quora or is it Cura? I don't know. Link will be included below, but so are pictures. Don't they sound a little familiar? So we have a look at these pictures. Let's have a look. Quora. What are all the medicines that can show up as a false positive for cocaine? So he literally searched for how does cocaine show up as false positive? And then specifically, you've got this benzocaglykine, I don't know what it is, on a hair follicle drug test. I have never done cocaine in my entire life, and I've tested positive for cocaine on a hair test. Now this guy, Mr. Robert Keenan, who is alleged physician and psychologist from 1990 to present, answered this question. He says, benzocaglykine, or whatever it is a major metabolite byproduct of cocaine use in people. However, it is also can be formed from cocaine when heated in the presence of water, e.g., say, in a wet pipe when being smoked, or on the scalp of an accidentally contaminated sweating person. When testing drug test results of any kind, you must consider whether the sample under testing can be contaminated as a result of the environmental exposure. In the case of a hair testing, exhaled cocaine smoke can contaminate every hair sample taken to lead to a false positive in a non-user. So that just means that if we believe Nick's story at this point, that means he was smoking crack around his kids. Okay. No respectable drug testing laboratory does hair testing and positive results, and they must always be questioned related to environmental contamination. No, this is not true, not necessarily. I used to perform cocaine smoking research for the US government. You're gonna wait until you hear the rest of this. We always tested my supervising research nurses for cocaine on their hair, skin, saliva, urine at their request. Although these nurses were only standing in the same room with people who were smoking cocaine, several of their tests came up positive when they were all false positives due to environmental contamination. This is the man. So this is the person, Mr. Robert Keenan. Let's have a look into his past, shall we? Bloomington man with a colorful past vows to keep fighting after judge tosses his pollution lawsuit. Bloomington man with colorful past loses lawsuit but vows to keep pursuing damages for health problems. Robert Keenan, hey, that's the guy that's answering the Cura posts. Brought a Geiger counter to measure radiation levels in his neighborhood near a Toro headquarters. A doctor who served time for conspiracy to manufacture ecstasy. Hold it, wait, what? Excuse me. Wait, can we just zoom in? Enhance? The man that Nick is getting his advice from is a doctor who served time for conspiracy to manufacture ecstasy and was running crack smoking experiments. He believes the pollution caused his parents' death and made him and his brother ill. Oh, and he's fat. Yes, it's true. He's also fat. This is the only fat person that Nick trusts. The Dave with the 2 pounds says Nick is a more boring Dr. Roxo. Yes, very indeed. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Cooking ecstasy? Question mark? Keenan's bad decision began when federal investigators looked into his use of what is this one? Phentermine? An amphetamine used in prescription weight loss drugs. I mean, they couldn't have been very effective. I think we need to get some better drugs, if we're being honest here. Holy shit. Acting on a tip from a convicted cocaine dealer, drug agents raided Keenan's homes and office. They found chemical precursors to the drug ecstasy baking in an oven and cookbooks on how to make it. Investigators testify that the chemicals found in Keenan's home could have been turned into as much as $5 million worth of ecstasy. He was convicted in 2005 of conspiracy to manufacture ecstasy and was sentenced to 7 years in a federal prison in Sandstone, Minnesota. He was released 5 years later and returned to Bloomington to care for his ailing mother, who died in 2013. Keenan maintains he was wrongly convicted. The government also set this man up. Oh my gosh. It's a Minnesota-wide conspiracy. He said that the specific chemical isomer found in the raid wasn't on the federal schedule of illegal drugs and is seeking to have his conviction overturned. What is the chances that Nick contacted this person to take part in his crack smoking experiments just for fun? Like, doctor, please let me be a part of your next test. Also, could you give me a reason why my kids are testing positive for coke? It's Mr. White. I don't know about Mr. White. I think it's Mr. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Like that's a chunky boy. That's a real chunky boy. But this is the guy. This is the guy that's Nick's man on the inside. This is the source of just trust me, bro. Holy Mr. Wide. Oh, holy shit. I wish I came up with that one. Oh no. Oh no, Mr. Wide. You can't keep getting away with it. Michelin Man. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Michelin Man. Off topic, but love your travel videos. Thank you very much. I like making them too. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. That when I saw that, it was just too funny. Now, give me a second here. Let me see. I thought I had some more stuff on that guy. Oh my god. Now, you might be asking, well, Nick never mentioned Cora, right? That'd be a pretty reasonable thing, right? But actually that's not the case. Because Spectre was communicating with Nick. And before Nick banned him, Nick actually referenced that he was literally getting the information from Cora. So this is from Nick's own desk, from the desk of the Border Law. He was showing that he was, well, these are terrible photos. I don't know. Why are they, there's a fucking picture for ants? What's going on here? There we go. There we go. There we go. So this is RekietaLaw DMs with Spectre, and he's posting his source in the private DMs, trying to convince people on Discord after he nuked his Discord for getting too much shit. And he links to hair follicles could yield false positives for cocaine use in the American Chemical Society, and he's also this. And there's the actual Dr. Robert Keenan right there. Nick's own Discord messages to Spectre. And then Nick also responds, everyone is so fucking smart, but none of them jumping Oh man, chat, you just keep jumping to conclusions. You don't read. Nick's talking with Spectre now. No, this is before he got banned. Nick banned him very shortly after this, as I understand it. Let me see. Oh, it's good to laugh. It's good to laugh. I got a big chuckle when I saw that one. These are the best top men in Nick's medical life. Now, do I need any of these? Probably not. This is just a fun post. This is a fun post from Anonymous. They said, this is the guy calling you a fag and a woman on the internet. And they've got a picture of Nick bent over while he's dressed as a thought with his plushies around while he was doing his thought stream. And this is also a picture of Nick as a spooky skeleton licking Nick's ear on the man that is very not gay with. And I got my own plushie for this stream. Look at this. Look at this one. Look how cute this little bird is. Look at that. I got it from a prize grabbing machine. He's got a little bird on top too. It's a Hokkaido bird boy. I don't know. That's cute. That's the only one I have though, so I had to break it out for the stream. Oh my god! What a disaster! Let me see. There was some more stuff on. We'll have a quick look into this doctor again. Actually, let's see. So, Dr. Robert M. sentenced for conspiracy to attempt to manufacture ecstasy. I want to see if there's anything else here, very briefly. All right, this might be spooky. Have you seen this guy's most viewed post on Quora? What are some of the darkest secrets of doctors? It matches up with the LinkedIn because he joined when he was at Johns Hopkins. What are some of the darkest secrets of doctors? Sometimes they may drink too much alcohol or have sex with more than one nurse at a time. No wonder Nick is a fan of this guy. In an extremely small percentage of medical cases, a physician's inaction may contribute slightly to the death of a patient, but too quick action on their part could gain the same result. Medicine is an art, not a science. Okay. I'm not sure I agree with that remark. I'm pretty sure it's called medical science, not medical art. But every problem is different, and it takes great patience to understand what exactly is going on. One time in the past, my ex-mother-in-law developed tremendous nosebleed that would not resolve. At first, the hospital said she was admitted to. She had 5 blood transfusions and 4 surgeries on top of bleeding, all to no avail. My wife was crying and said her mother was going to die. She had transferred to Johns Hopkins Hospital for the ENT service that was only a mile away from there, from where me and my wife lived. After the transfer and another week in the hospital with 4 more surgeries and 4 more blood transfusions, I came back home and my wife said, "You have to help her." I pulled out my Harrison's textbook. Is that an art book or is it a science book, I wonder, of medicines, and read all about epistaxis, nosebleed. After reading for 20 minutes or so, I told my wife to get her coat because I knew what was wrong with my mother. I had a good relationship with my mother. When I walked into the hospital room, I pulled 2 tampons out of my pocket. Okay. Told her to stuff them in her nose, get dressed, and let's go drinking. She laughed, and she wanted to go very badly. Then she asked me what was wrong with her. I smiled and said, "You were having a voracious menstruation from the sinuses, a menstrual period from her nose, because of the aspirin and female hormone replacement she had currently started. While they stopped the aspirin because of her bleeding at the hospital." So aspirins are blood thinners, aren't they? That kind of makes sense. But again, that would be a science thing, right? Not an art thing. The doctors had not stopped the hormone replacement therapy. I summoned the head EMT physician from his ivory tower to discuss her case. I told him my diagnosis, and he laughed, saying there's no such medical condition. With that, I nearly threw him out of the 8-story window. He was a little bastard, and I had him in the air. My wife stopped me from throwing him out the window. I put him down, and he called security. What a baby. This guy's like assaulting a doctor, and then he calls security, and they're like, what a weirdo. What a weirdo. Security came to the room immediately to arrest me. I told them to get the head of Johns Hopkins Hospital in there immediately before I hurt everyone involved. In those days, I was a rather stout fellow. Can we get this guy to box, Aaron? He's a dynamo. Holy shit. I'm sorry. I apologize. They called the head of the hospital in. He was one of my best friends at the time. We discussed this issue with the ENT doctor. The ENT doctor said this condition does not exist. Next, my buddy looked at me and asked me if I was 100% sure of my diagnosis. I said yes, and he told the head ENT to do exactly what I said, or he would be fired on the spot. The head of the hospital liked my mother-in-law a great deal as well. Everybody clapped. Holy shit. The ENT physician gave the order to stop the estrogen. My mother-in-law stopped bleeding the next month, and she was released the next day by lunchtime. Everyone involved in the situation, except for the security and the ENT doctor, went out for a very expensive liquid lunch at the Center Club in Baltimore, all on my banker father-in-law's budget. I invited a couple of extras of my family members to the affair because it was so unusual to see my tight-ass father-in-law with his wallet out. Here, in this case, where the physician's an actor, blah, 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 blah. Holy shit. What a fucking story. What a fucking story. I gotta go through this guy's entire medical history. This guy sounds like an absolute treat to read about. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was too good. That was too funny. Do you guys want to see some more? Press 1 in the chat if you want to read more Cora hits from Dr. Keenan. Oh my goodness, quite a stout fellow he was. Holy shit. All right, let's see some more quotes. What is the quickest way to get cocaine out of your urine? Don't ever use it. Otherwise, drink a lot of cranberry juice. Well, see, this would be very useful for Nick. Oh my God, no wonder Nick loves this guy. He's got all the answers. He's literally got all the answers. Dr. Kino. Let's see. I'm having a hair follicle test later this week. Will I still pass it if I smoked marijuana once 30 days ago and once several months ago? The hair follicle drug test is not a valid drug test anywhere. No wonder Nick believes this, especially with the true experts in this field. Any hair sample testing procedure has any possibility of being falsely positive because of environmental smoke contamination issues. That is, just being in the same room as someone who is smoking drugs could make you test positive for the drug when you have used none. My guess is you will not pass depending upon the arbitrary determined limit for your pass or fail. But what is this guy saying that you're not going to pass because you smoke drugs? So they are accurate. Holy shit. Nick is innocent. Yeah, we proved it. We got the guy. We got the expert. This is the paid expert. Oh man, wouldn't it be funny if this guy was actually Nick's paid expert? That would be too funny. Let's see. What are the hassles of attending university in Minnesota Twin Cities? While I have not attended school there in 20 years, I will offer my opinion. If you live near the University of Minnesota, i.e. Dinkytown or the St. Paul campus, the major drawbacks to making it to class is the winter weather. Dress warm in layers and you should be okay. If you commute to the university, make completely sure that you will have a reliable car. As you know, car is only as good as the sum of its parts, plus the maintenance can be given in. Okay, that seems reasonable so far. Other than that, I see no real drawbacks. One tip I'll give you is that others passed on to me is it to be very serious about spring and summer semesters as the easiest time to get good grade scores, while others are out enjoying the fine spring weather. So don't party, basically. Okay, I mean, that seems reasonable enough. Maybe there is something here, right? As a doctor or nurse, what is the boldest thing you ever said to a patient knowing that might get you fired afterwards? I once had a patient upon admission to the hospital with explosive diarrhea, diarrheaed all over me from head to toe, ruining my fine new clothes. Oh man, don't you just hate it when that happens? It's like rain on your wedding day, but it's diarrhea on your new suit. After fully treating her for her original malady, I attempted to send her back to the nursing home on several successive days. Each time she came up with a new reason to stay in the hospital. Each of her new reasons were always self-inflicted. I finally got wise to her shenanigans to arrange for her to go back to her nursing home without telling her. When she found out, she became very irate and started screaming at me. I told her, "You are leaving today and I don't care if it's an ambulance or a body bag." Then she screamed louder and I got into some trouble with the higher-ups. However, this was nothing new since I've always spoken my mind. These days, this could not happen because of managed care. You're only allowed so many days in the hospital for a given illness, then it's time to go home. How exactly did she get this shit all over him? Did she bend over and launch at it? Or was she already bent over and he was leaning over for a peek or something? I don't know. How do I extract pseudoephedrine from geriatric Walmart pseudoephedrine? Is it pseudoephedrine? I don't know what that is actually. From the 30 ml pills. Making methamphetamine is absolutely illegal in this country. Your question should be, where do I get anhydrous ammonia without killing myself? So he's just giving people advice on how to make meth? He's actually Dr. Walter White. He literally is. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I took 2 tablets of modafinil 7 hours ago. I have not seen any remarkable change in my attention span or ability to focus. Should I increase these pills for my focus on my exams, or should I increase my dosage? Likely not. What you should do is read about state-dependent learning, which postulates that any information you learn while using drugs can only ultimately be remembered while your body's in the same drug-induced state. It's interesting if true. My best advice to anyone in college is to study your material and take your examinations in the same unsleep-deprived state. I attended undergraduate. Okay, I mean, that's good advice. That part there. That's good advice. What are some bad reasons to become a pediatric nurse? To find a physician husband. Pediatric nurses are always the most beautiful nurses in our hospital. I rotated onto that service as much as possible. It was wonderful. Okay. So he's hitting on the nurses as well. He's a bit of a player, I suppose. Let's see. I took 1 pull of a blunt 7 days ago and haven't smoked in over 6 months. I took a urine test today, which is 7 days later. Will I pass? More than likely, yes. Well, good for you. What are the darker secrets of hospitals and doctors? Let's see. They constantly eat free food supplied by drug dealers, legal, and going to events prescribing the drug fair, sure. All right. Let's see if we can find any funny ones. Will cancer be cured by 2050? I believe all cancer will be cured by the end of 2019 or early 2020. Stay tuned. Good news, chat. Good news, chat. We found a cure. We found the cure. India is a superpower as well, and we have a cure for cancer. Thank you, Dr. Robert. Oh dear. Let's see. Let's see if I can find any. I'll zip through some of these. There's like quite a few of them. What is the best place to study? Got some recommendations on buffalo wings. I wonder if he recommends Stonies. What is the best nootropic for cognitive function? I would say high dose nicotine patches. What is the weirdest way someone has got high? Let's see. Most embarrassing thing. What is the most embarrassing thing you have done as a nurse? Brought her to her first orgasm at age 27. I think the question was, what is the most embarrassing thing you've done as a nurse? Not what is the most embarrassing thing you've done to a nurse? But he read it like that. He said, brought her to her first orgasm at 27. All I had to do was make her partner feel respected, safe, and loved. The rest is easy. There you go. He's given out drug advice, and he's making all the pediatric nurses, the really attractive ones, orgasm. Thank you, Dr. Keenan, who went away for 7 years for trying to synthesize ecstasy. Holy shit. What is something your bully do to you that you won't ever forgive? My bully was my brother. Oh, that's sad. One day he allowed me to beat him nearly to death, and I still hate him for that. What? What? Hold up. My bully was my brother. One day he allowed me to beat him nearly to death, and I still hate him for that. But you're the one beating him to death. From that day on, I no longer gave I never had any reason to hate him and use him for motivation in everything I did. He even got even with me. What is this Vegeta shit? What the actual fuck? Oh my goodness. This is the expert medical advice. All right. That brings us back into these Nick clips. We'll go for a short one. Let's do a short one first. We'll go this one. Oh, we don't need this one. We already read that. Like some of these clips are a little bit, there's a bit of crossover. So let's see. Nick Rekieta pleading guilty on Alyssa Clips channel. Let's take a look.
What is the date when you finally get this all figured out with your case? What is the date when you finally get this all figured out with your case?
I don't know the precise date that it'll all be done. I have a plea hearing on the 24th of January. So the way it works in Minnesota, I'll make a plea, a guilty plea on the 24th, and then that will then kick off a sentencing investigation.
Sorry, I just want to replay that.
Works in Minnesota, I'll make a plea, a guilty plea on the 24th.
So Nick has admitted he's pleading guilty. I just wanted to make sure that was clear. And I mean, we all knew this was the case, but Nick has admitted now that he's planning to plead guilty on 24th of January.
And then
he's guilty.
That will then kick off a sentencing investigation by the court. They need to basically make sure that I'm not like lying about something or misrepresenting something, that the sentence that's agreed upon is appropriate. And then there will be a sentencing hearing. That could be as short as a week. It could be another month. So probably in February, once the sentencing hearing takes place and I'm officially sentenced, then any conditions of that sentencing will kick off and get started.
God,
and
this takes forever. I want it to happen 3 months ago. This is ridiculous.
I wanted.
Very true. Very true. I think we're all been waiting for this for a while. Pirate Skeleton said, remember, kids, metabolites don't show up in people's hair from environmental contamination, but from substance ingestion. Well, not according to Dr. Keenan, the doctor that's rizzing up all the nurses and giving them orgasms at 27, and also giving you advice on how to clear urine tests. I've got a very reputable source on that shit.
At my last settlement conference, when we got everything worked out, I said, let's go. Let's just put it on the record right now. I would like to get started. I want to move on with my life. But I can't talk about the specifics of why, but part of my plea agreement involves something that the judge has to ask me specific questions on to make sure that I wasn't like coerced or threatened to do it. So,
all right, so stop here. I mean, I'm the one that's stopping it, but so what Nick is saying here is that on the previous conference, he wanted to just get the plea done and over with and done and dust, move back with his life and everything and have it all done. But it's the court that's holding things up. But then he said that the judge wasn't prepared and he needs to ask these questions. What I think actually happened is that Nick implied that he was unhappy with taking the guilty plea. And now the judge has to go back and check that Nick's not being coerced into this, because Nick's probably said publicly, like, oh, this is all bullshit, and I'm only going to plead guilty because I have to. Like when he did the tweet where all the super chat where it's like, oh, I'm going to do something that's anathema to me, but I have to do it to show like it sounds what he did. He fucked it up. He's trying to make it sound like he's a good boy, he didn't do nothing. And remember, he was talking earlier about how Aaron changes the reality to match his narrative. That sounds like what happened here is that Nick implied to the judge that he was being coerced into this deal, that he didn't want to take it, but he had to take it. And the judge has to make extra sure that he's not being railroaded. So I think that's what the delay has been. And I think we're all pretty much convinced that Nick has been the one that's been kicking this down the can, kicking the can down the road for as long as possible, to hope that there was some Hail Mary coming in either April or Kayla's case that he could use to get out of his case.
And the judge just wasn't prepared at that time to ask those questions. And this sounds like cryptic and weird, but it's not. Like, it's just part of the process to make sure that my rights aren't being violated by a lawyer or by some other coercion or something like that.
Gotcha. So
admit it. Say everything. Say everything you did. Why won't you say it? What are you afraid of?
It's like,
I mean, he said he's pleading guilty. He basically said everything.
I've wanted to talk about like what happened forever, but you got to exercise your legal rights, and part of that, you just have to protect what you've got until the appropriate time.
We all understand that. Yes.
Yeah, no one questions it.
Right.
I
already told everyone.
Like, Nick, I need you to plead and get this done within a week. And this is 2 days after I get out of jail. They're like, within a week, you need to get this cleared up. I'm like, do you realize that I live in the smallest county you've ever heard of? And like, they're just not prepared to do it within a week. Plus, we didn't even start.
I mean, to be fair, Nick's county is so small that his record of drug use has actually changed the statistics by like 20%. So Nick talked about how like people in his demographic, rich white people, don't typically get arrested for this shit. He's actually skewed all the statistics in his own county. He's like, despite making up only perhaps 1% of the population, Nick is responsible for 20% of the drug use in his county. It's actually crazy.
Getting discovery until July.
Yeah,
it's like I don't even know actually what their case is. I have no idea. I can't just go in. Like, I physically can't go in and plead guilty to facts that I don't know that exist.
But I told everyone the facts already. Just admit it.
Thank you.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
All right, I think there's maybe one more. All right, there's some other stuff. Let's see. Nick makes fun of Aaron's pretend radio. All right, this is the last one, I think. I may have covered this already. Let's have a look. But it's called Nick makes fun of Aaron's pretend radio and adds. Oh, sorry, and adds ad reads. Will, advertisements is just 1 D, not 2 Ds. That's why I have to criticize Will here and there. As a man in TV, he should know this, that there's only 1 D in ad for ad reads. But anyway.
Why does everything always come to this? Why is everything always we're going to have boxing matches and fighting? And not to ruin this, I know we are going to make this happen. There's going to be 5 guys against Aaron. But when we're doing comedy shows,
Saturday for me.
when we're clowning people, why does it always turn into, oh, you just want to beat me up, don't you? It's like, No, it's we
What
watch.
happened with Pirate Software? I'll talk about it at the end of the stream. I was gonna do like a half stream today with like half Nick, half Pirate. Or actually, there's another person I want to talk about as well. But I'll talk about Pirate towards the end of the stream because it seems like people are interested in it. Actually, like the polls like pretty even. But Pirate Software got into a bit of a trouble, and he has a bit of a dark history that we might have to do a show about tomorrow.
You know, you guys want to beat the
Yes!
shit
It's a
out
shame,
of me.
because I like
I'm the
Pirate.
worst
Yes!
guy on earth. I'm the worst
Yes!
guy on earth. You guys
Yes!
have tried to bring me down.
Finally, yes, Tukey wants him. Get Tukey, let Tukey at him.
Tukey is violent. He's not like the rest of us.
I cannot imagine walking around going, yeah, I mean, that guy just probably wants to fight me. Like, whose life is like that? First of all, you have to
Ralph's?
do some self-reflection then. If everyone you can think of must want to fight you logically, even though none of them have put it to voice, like you have to realize that you must be just an absolute.
I'm gonna put this to 1.25. I got family to get back to. Let's see. All right, there we go.
Look at me stories about how good he was at selling ads on the Steel Toe Morning Show for radio. He's like, yeah, it's so easy to just get ads. I was so great at it. And while I was on radio, you know, I was free to just do this. You know, on YouTube, I want to get back to radio so I can sell ads again. It's like, you can sell ads for your YouTube show.
Yeah.
How do you need?
Yeah, just like Nick was selling the 5G protection buttons. You know, you put a button and protect yourself from those evil 5G rays. What about the birch gold? What about the air purifiers, the little chainsaw, the battery powered chainsaw that couldn't go through a bottle? Quality products that Nick was selling on his show. Those 5G, the anti-work dog food and the 5G badges though, holy shit, that was the most cringe.
To sell ads on radio only. Oh, it's because the radio station is what they're buying the ad for. No one's buying the ad for Steel Toe. It's because like, well, it's on like 92.9 or whatever it is.
Right.
Like, but
Nick,
just
did Aaron ever talk about how much money he would get for ads? Because Carl and I were having a disagreement. Carl doesn't think that $400 a month.
It's not
is what
$400 a
he
month.
would get for ad payments.
It's not enough.
Did he ever talk about this or with April or anything else?
That's it.
$400 a month?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Because I heard that and I was like, wait, really? I would get.
Is that true? Aaron, somebody contact Aaron and ask him how much he was getting paid for in ads. $400 a month is, well, actually, I mean, Aaron's show prior to the Rekieta drama, I think Aaron's show was like I said, like 1 to 200 live viewers, right? So $400 a month for an ad read, I guess that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's a small show, and not to disparage Aaron or anything like that. Like that's pretty good for like a couple hundred viewers, right? That's more than a lot of people get for their hobby. I mean, okay, well, Aaron's also bringing in donations as well, though. But I don't know. I'd have to check the numbers on that. But that wouldn't be YouTube ad revenue, though. That would just be. I assume they just mean like when he talks about Stonies or something, right? I don't know.
Like I get between 500 and 1,500 a video.
Yeah,
to do a 60-second ad read.
Right.
Like I'm not 400 a month, and you do one every show, and he'll like.
And this is what he's currently getting for like Midland and stuff. Do you think, or
I don't know what he's getting now. I know that was the number that was bandied about, and that might have been an aspiratory number. Like I it's like I can't confirm it. I don't have any way to do so. I just know what he said, and when I talked to April about. But it's like, wait, that's all you're getting because if people who are watching aren't familiar, he does the radio thing where he'll set aside and he'll be like, and well, thank you for today's sponsors. It's like, no, these are just the sponsors of the show ambiguously, and they pay some monthly fee. But
I mean, that's like a requirement, though. What he's saying, like you have to say that. You have to do the ad read. That's why Mersh stopped getting paid because he wouldn't do the ad reads the way they wanted to do it, right?
He doesn't.
Stony ads pay well. It's very true. Very true. I mean, I can't talk about any details, but if hypothetically I was offered a Stony sponsorship for, let's say, every show that I play the Stonies clip where I've got over 1,000 viewers, I get $500. I mean, who am I to say no to that Stonies money, right? It's Stonies does pay well. They've got the best. Those $2 cans, they add up.
Send them the spots. Like when you have real sponsors, they want to like get the time codes. Is the episode out? Yeah, it's this time code. You can go back and hear it. They need to like prove to the boss that it ran and stuff like that. He's not
they
doing
have
any of that.
promotions, they have specials,
right? There's promo codes. Yeah.
He also talks about
they have
going.
copy with at least like main points. They're like, look, yeah, this month, the towing place, like, yeah, this month we're gonna give you your first 18.
It's another win for the towing place.
miles for free or whatever, and yeah, we'll give you an oil change. Like they'll have something. They'll be like, we really want to focus on that because we're trying to expand business in this direction or on this product. That's every single thing. That was always my thing with taking ads. Was I was like, well, I'll do an ad, but two things. One, I want to try your product because I want.
Listen to this part. Two things. One, I want to try the product.
Free stuff, and two, you can't tell me that I can't say something. Like if I want.
Did Nick try the 5G buttons? Did Nick put a 5G button that blocks the radio waves from the evil 5G towers that was being sold by Rumble Video, the 5G defense plan that he was shilling? Did he test that product out? Did he feel better after wearing the button? Because you only want to give your, you only want to give your audience the best stuff, the good stuff. Did he test out the dog food on Sunny? Like, can we find this? I want to find the 5G shit. 5G protection Rumble. We looked at this once, and it was EMF protection. This stuff was like so bullshit. Holy shit. Did anyone remember what it was called? I see videos for it, but it's not the actual ad company. Was it called Radio Shield? Radio Shield? Maybe. That sounds correct. It's a scam, obviously. 5G free? Was it 5G free? Oh, yeah, you're right. It was 5G free. my antivirus won't even let me go to the website anymore because it's a proven scam. Holy shit, 5G free. Yeah, that is the one. My computer won't even let me go there. Because it's like, whoa, buddy, you don't want to waste any money on this stuff. It might be a virus as well. Holy shit. This is the quality programming, the quality products that Nick was willing to sell to his audience because he only wants to deliver the best. He only wants to test it first. But as long as he can make Holocaust jokes while he's shilling the 5G buttons, then it's absolutely fine. Okay, that's the only thing he asked for. Oh my goodness. Like that, it really pisses me off actually when people sell that shit to they take advantage of their audience like that. Like there's boomers in his audience that will buy that. They'll waste money on they're like, well, I don't want my phone to give me radio frequencies, so I put a button on it. The Wi-Fi still works. It's amazing, but now I'm no longer getting radio frequencies through my skull. Holy shit. There are people that will actually buy that as well in Nick's audience. They're stupid enough to buy it. Probably a lot in his audience, but you never know.
To make a joke about the Holocaust during your ad, don't advertise on my show because I'll probably get drunk and do it by accident anyway.
The old merch clause.
So, Nick, I know you're very successful as a law tuber. How many towing companies?
Established titles, everyone kind of knew that was just a fun gag gift. But the thing is with established titles is Nick only came out saying he wanted to support established titles after it was revealed it was a scam. Like everyone who bought an established title, that no one really thought they were getting land and they're really becoming a lord in Scotland or some shit. Everyone knew it was kind of a joke. But then when it came out that it was actually just like a legitimate scam, Nick was like, hey, I'd still shill for them. I'll do anything. He literally said that.
That you have
after the scam came out.
You know, not any. Oh. They looked at me and they said, this man, if his car broke down, he would just carry it on his large shoulders.
Look, you'll always be Lord Ty to me. Okay. Always be Lord Ty to me.
Do you think? Yeah. Does all care telling go to Aaron and go like, how many listeners do you think you have in the 25-mile radius around our shop? Like,
well, probably all of them. If I had to guess, he's very proud of being a local show, like local heavy. I'm like, well, but why are you proud of having a local to St. Cloud audience? We're not talking about a high-income area.
Like, what is this? What do you mean? Like, this is the weirdest thing that I've maybe heard them criticize Aaron for. What do you mean you're proud of being a local radio guy? You should be you want to be a part of your community? Are you a weirdo? You want to be renowned with the people that you live with? What are you, some sort of crazy person? Local, like, whoa, that's some weird shit. Like, what do you mean? People spend their entire lives trying to be famous in their own communities. Like, it's not a bad thing as well. I mean, you can have bad motivations for doing it, obviously. But like becoming a man of the town, becoming like somebody people know, that's not a bad thing. I don't know why they're making fun of it. It's like the implication is that because it's like a small town that has nothing of value, when it couldn't be further from the truth.
Like it's not high population density. The
Especially in
overall
his house.
population of Stearns County is
No,
not.
but they are very racist and they love World War II talk. So he's got that going.
Well, I think they say do what you know, and his house is very low population and low income as well.
He's down to 300 people watching him in the evenings. Like, and it's an international.
Sometimes
audience.
it's less than 200.
Like, I think that's actually like a boost from when he started, right? Like I said, I thought that Aaron's show was like a 100 to 200 viewers, and that after the next stuff it boosted up to like 500, and then it kind of tapered down, which is pretty reasonable. But like saying like only like 300 or 400, what are they, 200 or 300 people? That's still a pretty good audience. Like a lot of people fight their entire life for a smaller audience than that, and you'd be surprised how far you can get with a very small audience as well. Now, is it like a giant show like Nick's, like 20,000 live viewers or whatever? No, of course not. But like, it's such a weird thing for these guys to be making fun of it. Does Moody have like a big channel or something? He's like, well, Aaron only has 200 live viewers. Oh, my channel is much more lustrous than his. Oh, Aaron used poor little plebeian. Like, this guy's just like a dingleberry for Melton. He just I'm pretty sure he doesn't have his own content as well. He just hangs around a Melton show while he programs like AI voices that sound like little girls. What a weirdo. And he's like, well, Aaron only has 300 live viewers. Fuck off.
Sometimes it's like 157 if something else is on. If
The
Tuki's
proportion
on.
of that in St. Cloud would be like what?
I mean, that's true. If
30
you don't
people?
stream, you have no viewers.
If that,
it's got to be really low. I'm like, I have no idea. Even if he has a high percentage of local listeners, like you having about above 10% on an internet show localized to a town of less than 100,000, it would be massive. Like it'd be huge. He acts like they're all just carryover fans from the radio. It's like, buddy, you probably only had 40 actual radio listeners. Like it's radio. People throw it on.
There are things too that like when you need a tow, you're calling the closest tow place.
Yeah, whatever.
If you're
comes
not
up
calling
on Google,
AAA
right,
or your
yeah.
roadside assistance or whatever, but like, and then if you
So I guess advertisement's just pointless, I suppose, is what Melton's saying.
if you're a Minnesotan, you have a bar. You have a bar you go drink at in the winter. You're not heading over to Stoney's for their cornhole. Like you're not. This is insane what he does.
I'm very sad to hear that Stoney's is no longer offering the Naked Twister signed by Aaron. When I was watching Sean's show, he promised me that I could get my Twister set signed by Aaron, and now they're no longer offering that deal. It's very disappointing, honestly. I do have to criticize both Aaron and Stoney's for that change in their previous promise. That I know that so many people got their Twisters signed, but I didn't get mine signed, so I'm very upset about that.
Now it's blatant just selling the gift cards because he said Cheetos dropped off the gift.
All gift cards are sold. What do you mean? Gift cards are a total scam, though. I mean, I think he means like a giveaway, but whatever.
Certificates this morning, the fresh batch of Glengarry gift certificates, and he's like Cheetos told him to shovel his
The
sidewalk.
leads are weak. The gift certificates are weak. You're weak.
I don't know the precise date that it'll all be done. I have a plea hearing on the 24th of January. So the way it works in Minnesota,
So set your calendars, chat, for 24th of January is when the next biggest Nick stream will be. Although there may be some other things. I'll probably be streaming most of this week, I think. I think I'm kind of back now.
make a plea, a guilty plea on the 24th, and then that will then kick off a sentencing investigation by the
That's
court.
true.
They need to
Aaron is
basically
selling
make sure
$100
that I'm
signed
not like
Twisters.
lying about something or misrepresenting something, that the sentence that's agreed upon is appropriate. And then there will be a sentencing hearing. That could be as short as a week. It could be another month. So probably in February, once the sentencing hearing takes place and I'm officially sentenced, then any conditions of that sentencing will kick off and get started.
God,
And
this
then
takes forever. I want it to happen 3 months ago. This is ridiculous.
I wanted at my last settlement conference.
All right, so this like kind of leads into the rest of the clip, but we don't need to see that. So we'll just go into this one. There's a quick one from well, not legal mind. It's potentially criminal about Nick taking a possible Alford plea. Now, the Alford plea is basically when you don't admit to being guilty, but you admit that the state has so much evidence against you that there's no way you can win, and you just say, well, I'm not really guilty, but I'm taking the guilty deal. So let's just have Sean explain this, because I'm not a lawyer and Sean is. So we'll get a bit of a better legal take. Sometimes people complain that I don't have the best legal acumen, I know, but let's see what Sean has to say in regards to Nick taking an Alford plea.
Sure.
Let me just change this to my premium account. There we go.
Jose Rodriguez says, breaking news. Baldo is drunk on the Melton show. Reading off.
This isn't breaking news. This is just every day, by the way. So
Aaron,
I'll skip back to where we were.
Taking care of case. Jose says, Nick announced he's asking for an Alford plea. I don't know how that's going to work for him, but I wish him the best. If he can get it, sure. If you guys were not aware, that's a case, Alford v. North Carolina. North Carolina v. Alford. Alford was a black guy who was accused of murdering people and was facing the death penalty. But
Why couldn't he just be a guy, Sean? I don't see people like that.
Pled guilty and maintained his innocence to avoid the death penalty. And initially, the trial court said, I can't accept that plea. And it went all the way through up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of the United States says, yes, in fact, there are times you can plead guilty to maintain your innocence at times, but you don't always get that right. It's not always automatic. Alford pleas are not always easy. Well, free legal advice. Well, the free legal advice is don't read people's personal bank records.
That's pretty good advice.
Online, especially when it's not clear you never were given access or you're supposed to have them in the first place. If it's not yours, don't go airing out other people's shit. That's always just a generally good example of things. Don't air out stuff that's not yours, and if you weren't given it to you by that person. So, and that's just kind of basic. Like if it's not yours, do you think that person wants you to share it? Well, especially if it's something important like that. I wouldn't do that.
Sound advice.
That would just be my recommendation to you guys. Jim Cox saying a no contender or no contest is the same thing, right? No contest is different. A no contest plea, the way a no contest plea works, you're saying, I'm not contesting the complaint. The allegations in the complaint, I'm not saying they're true. I'm just not saying anything at all. Because with a no contest plea, you're basically consenting to the court reading the complaint and determining if there's a factual basis for you to have committed that offense. Because you're stipulating saying, I'm not saying I did it, but I'm not disagreeing with what's alleged. And the court looks at it and says, okay, well, and normally complaints are done in a way the judge can look at it and say, okay, well, I look at this, you pled no contest, I find you guilty. Now, there are times where, and I did this before as a public defender, you could do this, especially in like bums and, winos would get arrested and they get charged with like disorderly conduct or obstructing official business. You read the complaint that the officer filled out, as he arrested the guy, and you look at it and you're like, this doesn't meet the elements of the offense. And you hand it up to the judge and say, Your Honor, we plead no contest. Judge looks at it and says, okay, yeah, you plead no contest. I find you not guilty. So that's where no contest is vastly different. An Alford plea is an entirely different monster. An Alford plea is
self-explanatory, I guess.
Very, very different. You maintain your innocence, but you're acknowledging, like, I would get convicted if I went to trial. So that's the thing. If Nick said he's going to try to get an Alford plea, that's his way of admitting, like, okay, he would go into court and say, I'm innocent, but I also recognize, had I gone to trial, I would have got my boots, like I'd have got my ass kicked. That's what an Alford plea is. That's different. So I hope that kind of makes sense. They're not even on the same, they're not even branches of the same tree. They're entirely different trees. Who's Alford? It's Alfred. No, Alford. A-L.
That's a pretty good explanation by Sean. There is one other thing I guess I should mention. We don't need this one anymore. But in the Eric July case versus Riley from the Dick Show, I believe. Where's the thing gone? When I zoomed in, it changed everything. Shit. All right, there we go. So Nick has so in the where's the screenshot of it? I had it before, but then it zoomed out and it got moved. But basically, to make a long story short, in the case of Eric July, the man that's really responsible for the cocaine in Nick Children's hair, Eric July has a court case versus Riley, who's been harassing him, and there's only two witnesses that are listed on the docket, and that is one Mr. Dick Masterson and also one Nicholas Rekieta. So Nick might be jumping down. I guess if you're going to finally escape Minnesota, right? Might be joining that lawsuit as well, which might be fun. Meme stroke here. Oh God, female cop, gun drawn. Anyway, that'll do it for the next stuff. Now, I did kind of run out of time, but I think tomorrow the plan is we'll go over this pirate software stuff. Now, I'll give you a bit of a rundown on that as well, very briefly. You probably have seen pirate software before, but he's got himself into a bit of a snafu. And I actually came across pirate. Let me see if I can get a picture. Like he's got like a really deep voice, and he has a lot of really popular YouTube shorts, and he's kind of exploded. recently in the car, and he got like this big boost in subscribers. And let me see. This is a good picture for you. There you go. This is the guy. This is Pirate Software. So I first saw Pirate Software in YouTube Shorts, and he was talking about. He would talk about stuff for Blizzard. He's an ex-Blizzard employee, the company that's very famous for having people's breast milk stolen from their fridges. And he was an interesting guy. He had a stream. He makes games, and he runs a ferret rescue, and it all seemed very wholesome. Basically, what happened, and we'll get into this in detail. We'll have to do like a big breakdown and deep dive into it. But basically, what happened is there's a game called Hardcore World of Warcraft. Now, World of Warcraft is a role-playing game, and the hardcore variant is particularly autistic. Basically, if you die once, you die forever. And to get to level 60, the max level in World of Warcraft, and don't worry, this isn't about World of Warcraft, this is about this person. But basically, if you die, you lose 10 days or 6 to 10 days of playtime, and your character's just gone forever. So it's like real life. If you die, you die. Now, Pirate Software has been billing himself as a very professional, ex-Blizzard, knowledgeable guy, hacker man, game developer. He's got all the answers. But he went into a little group. He went into a group in a dangerous dungeon called Dire Maul. Again, that's not important for this story. But what happened is, shit hit the fan, and he decided to flee like a roach. He fled like a rat. He's Pirate Software. And that's fine, honestly, on its head. That happens a lot in this sort of game. Like, that's part of the game is dying, and that's part of the fun. But the thing what happened is, not only did it abandon his team, he abandoned his team when he talked about the virtues of staying with your team and helping them get out. And he was playing a mage. So basically, to put this into boomer terms so you can understand it, because I know you don't really guys know much about Warcraft, right? Basically, it's like, imagine the Balrog shows up in Lord of the Rings, and as soon as Gandalf sees him, he's already halfway back to Rivendell, and he's like, just die, you fools. I'm the guild's enchanter. So he abandoned his team. 2 people out of 5 died. And then he goes, and that's not the problem though. That's okay. That's the pre-story. Okay. So this is what happened. He then starts to take on this holier than thou attitude. It's not my fault. It's actually you who are fault. And he started arguing the community. He doubles down, he triples down, and he's just completely insufferable. And I was like, I'm kind of interested in World of Warcraft. I was a big World of Warcraft nerd, and I know a lot of these details, but I never knew the backstory of Pirate Software. And anyone want to take any guesses? Anyone want to take any guesses about Mr. Pirate? It turns out he's a furry, and he had a Kiwi Farms thread all along. And now this is all coming out. He's a furry. He's a furry Nepo baby and potentially a Gooner groomer. There's a big detailed history on the farms that I've been going through. I'm still doing my research. He used to sell fursuits in Second Life. And then he was employed a 16-year-old girl that he drove 4 hours to meet when he was an adult. Now, the age gap was pretty close. I think it was like 16, 19. And he claims that when he went to meet her, he was actually didn't know how young she was. And as soon as she found out, he turned away and drove back 4 hours. But this is all stuff that I'll probably be going over tomorrow. His fursona name, he even had a Fair Affinity account called Maldavius Fig Tree. This is his fursona. A ferret. The ferret rescue not sounding so cute anymore, not so kawaii anymore. I think there's some big lolcow potential here. His thread is exploding. It's I never knew all this stuff, but it's some pretty dodgy shit. I always thought that he was like a big game developer, but it turns out that his game that he's always talking about, Heartbound, it's been an early release for 8 years. He's just a total grifter. And the thing that I think I find most shocking about this, because I liked his videos. Like when I saw his shorts show up, and like I'll show you some eventually when we go into this tomorrow, I think. Like he seemed like such a real person, like such a cool guy, but it's all just fake. And he's anti-consumer as well. That's like probably the worst part is like he went out, like he started batting against this guy that was trying to basically campaign against early release access, like slop on Steam. And because he shovels early access slop on Steam, he came out of batting against that guy. So we're going to have to do a big deep dive into this. But I'll get all the clips prepared and everything for this because you need to understand what it's like. But I'll show you. I'll show you what it's like. Let me see. One that I've got prepared here. Pirate software. The parallels between him and Rekieta are kind of interesting, actually. Let me see. I think it's this video, right? Is this the one? No, that's not it. This is a risky search. I'm searching for hardcore moments. Here it is. All right, I'll show you that. I'll show you what happened as a sort of a preview for tomorrow. So this is a channel called Hardcore Clips, and they do World of Warcraft hardcore. So if these people die, they die for real. But let's see. We'll go to the part where Pirate abandons his group. I'm pretty sure it's in this one. Pretty sure it's in this one. Let me see. That's where those people died. Pretty sure. Here is this it? No, that's Die Mall. Maybe it wasn't this. Maybe it wasn't this episode. Shit! I thought I had all this prepared. I was sure it was this episode. He's also a flagget. That's another thing. Is he flags down videos that are critical of him, and does privacy complaints and things like that. So that's another reason that I'm kind of interested in covering this guy, because I really get annoyed when people try to use their strength to like muscle down on smaller people. It really annoys me. He's actually already banned 6,000 people from his Twitch chat because he's a bit like he exploded to like 20,000 live viewers. I guess this is the wrong one. I thought it was this one. Maybe it'll be in the thing. Oh, no.
Bro, I'm
not this one. Shaman make mistakes. I'm prepared. I'll blame others. Must be the previous day's one. This must be this one, I guess. Let me see. Come on now. Surely. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So this is what happened. This is like, and again, the game thing doesn't really matter. But what happened is he just lied about everything as well. So their group is in Dire Mall, and these ogres attack. You got to watch out for this Zoomer guy. Don't worry about him. So this is Pirate over here, and all these guys jump on them, and he's just out of there immediately. He's like blinking away and shit.
Too. Watch out.
Yeah. Well, I got
Run.
Just run. Guitar,
so this is Pirate here. He's just fucking gone. And again, as a mage, you can freeze people, you can slow people. So he just abandoned them to die, and he lies about not having.
I can target them, yeah. Should I do it?
Sorry, you'll have to watch out for the Zoomer editing. Okay.
Kill the masters. No.
And he abandons his group.
Any grenades? Anything? I got last stand.
But you need to watch it from Pirate side because he
just heal me. Just come back a little bit.
He's roaching out.
Sitting bear form.
It's not beat. Just
he's roaching out.
I can help plot. Yeah.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
What are you talking about? Why am I walking?
This is savage, but come on, man.
Just kill the master.
So this is his team. This is his team dying, and he's already back. He's already gone. He's just fucking gone. He's just fucking gone.
In a sense of
or something. Or something.
Do you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
Just kill the masters. One shot. Okay, we
more
can
than on the way. More on the way.
Now. The mastiffs can be ice novas.
Now we're gonna wait.
Musara.
Oh.
So the person that just died, the healer, she just lost at least 6 days of time. So that's not just 6 days, but like 6 24-hour days. So she's lost like potentially, what is that, 1,000 hours. And he's just standing there not doing anything, and he's lying about his mana. He got to take off the hat. Take off the fucking hat. Now, as I am a very big nerd, I can tell that he has a mana gem and he has a robe of the Archmage here, so he can get back mana. He refuses to use his mana to save his team. Do you remember when Gandalf was in the Mines of Moria and he said, "I got no mana. You're on your own. See you, boys. I'm out." Unbelievable.
Okay, get
6 days isn't 1,000 hours. You're right. I know.
Run.
I fucked up.
I can taunt last.
How much mana is
He's already outside of the instance. Look, everyone else is staying. They're trying to help each other to get out. He's already gone. He's ratted out. He's a roach.
The boss and you called wrong.
Slowed.
Wait,
I
for me.
cannot. I don't think. I cannot stun him. Ossi, are you good?
Just run out.
Are you good, Ossi?
Boss cannot.
Yeah, what is it, like 160 hours or something? I don't know.
It's literally just even an ice nova would have been enough.
You guys pulled that when I had.
Anyway, we'll go into this. But like the thing is, it's not about the game. Okay, the game is just how this all started. Because up until this time, sound like I'm playing Raft. Up until this moment, he was well respected in the community, and everyone thought he was a knowledgeable expert, sort of thing. And this is what exposed him as an asshole. And then all this furry shit and Second Life stuff happens and stuff. So this is what's come out, and it's like the biggest drama in this scene, the hardcore scene recently. But I think a lot of people aren't actually looking into his background. I think there's a lot of potential here. So we'll do a deep dive on this one tomorrow night. I think. I know I kind of promised a little bit tonight, but that's a bit of a teaser for you. What did Asmund? Well, that's the thing is everybody's come out and said that Pirate was in the wrong, except for Asmongold, and they have like a collaboration, so it's kind of sus. Like usually Asmund knows what he's talking about when he talks about Warcraft, but in this sense, he has no idea. Everybody has been talking about how Pirate has just been wrong, and it's kind of a let's see. Well, there's some like quick clips of him coping and stuff that we can look at as well. Like this is what he was saying about it.
I am often gaslighted by management and somehow always yielding to the pressure and admitting to a mistake I never did.
Okay.
I was super impressed with how you stood your ground against relentless bullshit thrown at you from other toxic communities.
Yep.
You did nothing
So this is a paid chat that's kind of mocking him, but he's just taking it seriously.
wrong. You knew it, and you stood your ground. How I can build up the same level of mental resilience like you.
I think the biggest thing, man, is a lot of people will cave because they feel like caving is going to make the ridicule and bullshit stop. It doesn't. If you know that
He's
you are
standing
correct,
up. He's standing his
if
ground.
You feel that you're right.
Standing
in the
his
way that you
ground,
do
chat.
things, just own it.
Now it gets worse. Like I said, I got to pass through a lot of this stuff. But he's making a list and he's checking it twice. He's sending you to his buddies at Blizzard and
Actually,
shit.
insane people on the internet. So I just banned and reported them.
Just
We've been
ban
doing
report 'em.
bans across the Twitch channel. We've been doing batch reports up to Twitch. We've been taking all of this. We've been documenting all of the content creators that are egging it on. Like all of that shit is documented and reported. And that's it. Hope it was worth it.
So not only is he banned, he's banned over 6,000 people. Like I know this, like you guys don't know who this. Most of you guys don't know who this guy is. He's banned over 6,000 people from his chat thus far over the last 2 days. And not only is he banning people from his chat, he's reporting them to Blizzard, and he's saying he's using his game context to like get their accounts banned, and he's reporting people to Twitch. If you're a content creator and you looked at his clip and made fun of him and said maybe he should have clicked his mining emerald, he's reporting you to Twitch for harassment. He's a Nepo baby that's trying to use his contacts once again to get his way. And the thing that's crazy about this entire situation, really, to me, is that like everything was going really well for him. Like he just won like the incestuous award from the Streamer Awards, which was what was it called? The League of His Own. Like he just exploded. Like I said, his streams are like 20,000 live viewers. Everybody was talking about him. He's winning these awards. He's like the man about town. He's collaborating with all these big names like Ludwig when he's not busy, got his mouth around Hassan's cock or anything. So everything was going just well for him, and this happened. It may have destroyed everything. What was this one? What was this one I got here? They've been running articles on this one as well. But yeah, we'll go into this tomorrow because it's going to take me a while I have to think about how to organize this. That'll make it appeal to people that aren't interested in Warcraft. But basically, we're going to do a deep dive on this guy that's actually a furry. That's the thing. Don't go furry. Never go furry. True. He's not even a furry, Kurt. He's the worst kind of furry. He's a Second Life furry. He has a fursona. And like previously, I thought it was cute that he had like an animal rescue and everything. But it turns out that maybe it's not as good as it seems. And some of the furry ferrets have reached unfortunate ends. But like I said, it's part of my investigation into some new characters. And I got a new guy I found as well, who's pretty funny that we're going to have to talk about at some point. Hold on, I'll put on the dancing cow. So we've got something to watch. There we go. So I got a new guy that I found. that is making fun of his chat because he says that if you start paying someone on Patreon or you start paying someone on YouTube and you stop paying them, they call it financial abuse. So it's an absolute. This guy's like the most pathetic guy I've ever seen. Not this guy here, but we're going to have a look at that guy. I think his name's Solari or something. So I found a couple new people to talk about. So it's not just going to be Rekieta stuff going forward. There'll be some more characters in the content, but we'll have to go there later. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, Solari, I think it's called. I think it's Solari, right? Hold on, I'll do a brief preview of that as well, so chat can get excited for what's to come, I suppose. Solari. I think it's Solari. Yeah, it's Solari.
This video is brought to you by the wonderful people who support.
He's a guy that would he decided to quit his job. He decided to quit his job and become a YouTuber, but he can't handle criticism. And not only is he a YouTuber, he talks about leftist politics as well. So there's a video here he does where it's called "Addicted to Outrage." This one is pretty wild. I'll give you a preview of it. And there's another one down here. I think it's just YouTube. I search for YouTube. Let me see. There's one that's called "Why This Job Sucks." Being a YouTuber. Being a YouTuber is hell unless you're huge. So this might be a fun edition of Schadenfreude. You should cover Dark Viper. I don't really know anything about Dark Viper. He's just like the Australian guy in the tank top, right? But in this one, this addicted to being angry. If I want to show you one part of it, and look at that. He's got the old things that I used to have up behind me. See, it's a vibe, guys. I want to search this for something. I want to search the transcript. See if I can find this. Abuse. All right, just listen to this. Listen to this. In the segment that's called "The Time That I Felt Worthless."
If I'm being more frank, holding someone's income hostage is also a form of financial abuse.
Now, what he's talking about here is somebody unsubscribed to his Patreon. Someone unsubscribed to his Patreon because he hasn't uploaded a video in a month or something. He's like, when you take someone's income away, that is a form of financial abuse. So I feel like this guy's got a lot of potential as well.
So if you're one of the people who use that method on me or any other creator, you should know that when you're being explicit about this behavior, you're causing psychological harm to a human being. On one occasion, and I won't mention it by name because I don't want to revisit it due to the trauma.
This guy's got so much potential. This guy's got so... Wait, I forgot. There's one more thing I got to show you. I can't remember if it's the beginning.
Guess who's having to use a cold pack for a bit because you know what I like? I was younger, and
there's a trigger warning here somewhere. He's got a trigger warning, and it's really, really funny. It might be on a different video. Let me see if we can find it. He talks about as a little bit, heel versus babyface. Oh, here it is. Look at this. This is some wild shit.
Right.
Trigger warning. Trauma. He's about to talk about how people unsubscribe from his Patreon. Ideation. Trigger warning. I'm going to think. Have you ever seen that's what CW stands for, trigger warning. Ideation. Holy shit. Warning, viewer. You wouldn't want to get offended because you're going to have to use your imagination. This guy feels like he's got a lot of potential. A lot of potential. So that's a brief peek at this guy. But we'll have to talk about them later on. But anyway, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll check that guy out sometime this week. And since we've got over 1,000 people watching, thank you for watching and liking the stream. But I got to make money. So I've got to play the Stonies commercial because I got to eat food too, right? So peace out. Stay safe out there. I'm back. I know I was gone for a week or something. We'll be back this week. Cheers, chat. Have a good day, morning, wherever you are, and peace.
Are you tired of drinking alone or worse, with boring people?
Hi Minnesota, I'm Mean McGill, and do you want to experience the kind of atmosphere where the drinks flow as freely as the gossip? Then come on down to Stoney's in Rockville, Minnesota. At Stoney's we don't just serve drinks, we serve connections. Some legal, some not so much. Need a spot to discuss your latest scheme, or just want to unwind after a long day of avoiding responsibilities? Well then come on down to Stoney's where the drinks are cold and the secrets are spicier than our famous Ultimate Bloody Marys. Whether you're planning your next big hustle or just looking for a good time, Stoney's is the place to be. We've got pool tables, karaoke nights, and the only thing more colourful than our drinks is our clientele. Hey look, you didn't hear this from me, but did somebody say $2 cans on Thirsty Thursdays? Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? At Stoney's Bar, every night's a wild card, and the house always wins, unless you're buying the next round. Just remember that what happens at Stoney's stays at Stoney's. Well, that is until the next town hall meeting. Just check out all of our testimonials. Stoney's Bar, Rockville, Minnesota.